Last time on Square Roots, Elena sees some new sights, and everyone faces the ironic truth that little girls can be more than they seem at first glance. Blink and you'll miss it. Keep your eye on the ball. Don't get lashed. Lashed. Aye.
And welcome to Square Roots, the classic RPG podcast. My name is Jim Banks. I'm joined by Matthew Van Zant.
Hello, Jim. Hello, friends.
And Vanessa.
Hi, I'm friends, I guess.
Straight no!
Yeah.
Wow. We're American.
The
We're
straights
straight.
finally
That's what this
get
podcast is
something
now.
for themselves.
That's right.
USA.
We're talking
USA.
straight things. We're talking men are from Mars, women are from Venus.
Yeah.
We're talking inequitable share of housework.
Yeah, we're talking about
Just how
the
we
pay
like
gap
it.
and how cool it is.
We're talking about sex that can result in pregnancy and biological offspring. It's straight night.
Yeah. We're going to talk about traffic. What else does John say straight people?
Oh, we got to talk about like classic rock and roll, obviously. None of that.
Yeah.
None of that 80s pop shit, you know? It's all Poison and Guns N' Roses. That's straight music, right?
Yeah. Bruce Springsteen, I think, is the straightest music.
Oh, you think so?
Oh, yeah.
Interesting. Now, why would you feel that way?
'Cause you can't start a fire. You can't start a fire without a spark.
Are you saying that gays
I
can't
love
start
that song.
fires? I don't understand.
They can't. They're already
Problematic, Vanessa.
flaming.
Oh, man. Well, on that note, Johnny can't join us tonight. He's busy.
Busy
He has
with
some
what?
stuff. I want to say it, but John will get mad at me.
No, it's fine. He was trying to cross into the United States of America illegally. And the police went to arrest him, and he escaped, thankfully, because he had such bad diarrhea that it fired him across the border into the United States. He is on the run, ladies and gentlemen. Please keep your eyes out for that Johnny. He could be in a state near you.
Yeah. We love you, John. All right. Well, now that we've said, did I say what the show is?
No.
Yeah, I did. This is
No.
a podcast where we play and talk about your favorite classic RPGs one chunker at a time, and this is episode 4 of Grandia II.
An episode.
The good Grandia.
Episode 460 of this podcast. Whoa,
That's
snoochie boochies, am I right, guys? That's the weed number.
Is it?
That's the weed number. 460, right?
It sounds right.
Well, I didn't know anything about that.
Question. How are you guys enjoying Grandia so far?
Wow. This is a...
Leading question.
Yeah.
We're probably halfway through. We're like halfway through the game, so...
Shouldn't it be, are you enjoying Grandia? Not how are you enjoying Grandia? I'm enjoying it on my
Are you
Xbox
enjoying Grandia?
Series X. Thank you.
I'm enjoying it on my Switch. How are you enjoying Grandia, Jim?
I'm enjoying it on my Steam Deck. Great. Are you guys enjoying your time with it?
I don't know what this fishing for compliments about Grandia
weird.
corner is.
I'm not fishing for compliments.
weird.
I'm just asking how you're enjoying the game.
I
'Cause
idolize
I want to hear
Ryudo.
you be effusive
I think
about
he's
it.
cool.
Yeah.
I agree with his opinions, i.e. women and God. Because this is the Straits podcast. You know what I mean?
Right.
Yeah.
I guess I like the pink colors when it's pink on the screen. And I also like the fashion. And I like cleaning my kitchen.
Okay,
When I'm
that's
not
good.
playing Grandia.
Yeah, in the Square Roots house, of course. You know,
Yeah, in the
after you
Square
prepare a 4-course meal for all the men in the house.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then do all the dishes.
Jim helps. He grills. I mean,
Oh,
he makes
yeah.
you prepare the meat, bring it out to him, take it back in.
I take it in and out of the thing
Yeah.
But he helps.
and say I cooked it. Do you guys have any hot gaming news you'd like to share with our listeners?
I thought we were going to talk about how much we're liking Grandia some more.
Well, you guys wouldn't even say it.
I don't want to spoil my roundly for or squarely against.
Yeah, what if we don't like it now, Jim? What if we're just going to let you down?
Good. I hope you don't. What do you think about that?
How about this? Heads up, listeners. This is by far the longest chunker of the game, and this is going to be an 8-hour episode.
I did pick a really long chunker.
Actually,
Oops.
we should say we dialed it back.
We did
only
dial it
played.
Yeah, it was a little bit longer.
We only played up to the horn, defeating the horn of Valmar, and not the body, because Matthew played it all weekend and only got that far and said no more.
It was pretty long. Hot gaming news. Tell me about it.
Sure.
Regale me.
There are some articles going around that purport to have actual screenshots of the Oblivion remake and are stating that it is going to be stealth dropped this week, the week this episode comes out, on consoles.
Is it going to be on
moly.
Game Pass?
Yes,
Will it be
the
a Game
article
Pass
that
game?
Johnny shared with me about it did say it would be on Game Pass.
Wow. That'll be fun.
As I said at the time, I will believe that when I see it. It seems a little weird to me to sink a bunch of money and time and effort into a game, a big-ass game like a remake of Oblivion, and then just dump it. But who knows?
I feel like if it wasn't true, they would be denying it at this point. You know?
Yeah.
I don't think they've announced it. So, like, what's to deny? You know?
Well, there's a whole bunch of articles of like, oh, they're remaking Oblivion, and all they'd have to do is be like, actually, we're not. But if
I think
you're
the
interested,
remake
you
is
know,
real.
Wait, there's a remake and then there's also like a remaster?
Is it a remake or a remaster?
I don't understand the
I don't know.
difference.
This may be a remaster. I keep saying remake, but it may be a remaster.
Well, you don't think it exists either way. All I'm saying, if it
Yeah, it's
wasn't
a
true,
remaster.
they could deny
Well,
it, and they haven't.
Some of these headlines say Oblivion remake and some of them say Oblivion remaster.
I guess we'll find out when they actually announce this fucking thing.
Yeah, it's hard to say.
Whether
but,
they're stealth dropping it onto Game Pass or not, or whatever.
Yeah, keep your ears to the ground, listeners.
Yeah,
You might see a wild Oblivion remake.
make a Google alerts for Oblivion. And if you haven't played Oblivion and it does come out, we recommend it. We liked it.
Yeah, that's a 10 out of 10 great game. I've played it a couple of times myself, and I will probably download it and play it again if it hits Game Pass, because it's a
Me
good fun
too.
time. I always liked it more than Skyrim, to be honest with you. I just like the Thieves Quest stuff more. Oblivion's the one where you get the stupid helmet, right? Or is that Skyrim? It's Oblivion.
Yeah, and the boots.
The invisibility helmet.
Yeah.
And I just, as much as it's like not the best plot ever, I never cared about that Dragonborn plot. Don't give a shit about Dragonborns. Mm-hmm. Don't like the Viking setting. Don't care for that at all.
Huh.
Yeah, I like Oblivion.
I didn't know you were
like
such a
their-
Skyrim hater.
Well, I'm not
like
actually. I like
Oblivion's
Skyrim. I've
Dark
played it
Brotherhood
multiple
stuff,
times.
too.
Yes, yep, I agree with that. I think that Oblivion's the better game overall. Anywho,
It also has Patrick Stewart.
yeah, it has
sure
Patrick
does.
Stewart for like what, 10 lines?
Not a lot, yeah. I have some hot gaming news. They announced the release date of the second season of Twisted Metal
Nice.
on Peacock.
That's exciting.
Yeah, it comes out in July. They have announced that some fan favorite characters are going to be present in season 2. There's going to be the guy, Mr. Grimm, the guy on the motorcycle who is in, I think, all the Twisted Metal games. He's like the skull guy. And they're going to have Axel, the guy who's an axle in between two big wheels.
That's weird.
And Calypso's going to be in it.
Cool.
Which, like, he was kind of in the end of the first season, but I don't think it actually showed him. But it talked about him a lot. He's going to be in season 2, so that's fun. I like that first season of Twisted Metal. That's a fun show.
I liked it as well. I cannot sit here and pretend like I could name a single Twisted Metal character other than the clown face guy. And I couldn't name him. I just remember he got a clown face.
Sweet Tooth.
Sweet Tooth.
There's Sweet Tooth and Roadkill and Mr. Grimm and Axel and...
Now you're just naming people that you just
That's
named.
all I remember.
2 of those were from an article you just read. So
that is true. I did watch the trailer too, and there wasn't a lot in it, but it was fun.
Is Anthony Mackie back?
All right.
You know, are we getting more?
Yeah, Anthony Mackie's backy, baby.
Yeah, I like Anthony Mackie. What about The Last of Us? Did you know that came out?
Sure.
In fact, 2 episodes should be out by the time this episode releases. Whoa.
Wow.
It's exciting news. It's hot gaming news.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's stirring up the same kind of controversy the second game did. Just like in a different way.
Yeah, I guess. I don't.
Yeah.
We don't have to get into all that.
Yeah, we're not really. This may be the straights cast, but I don't really want to talk about that shit.
It's a little too straight for me. The quote unquote controversy.
Yeah.
What about this hot gaming news? Fantastic Four First Steps got its first official trailer today. Whoa! That's
It's
okay.
shiny.
That's game news, right?
Yeah, it's shiny. It's very shiny. It's very Epcot City of the future. It's very
Yeah, that's what I thought too.
Jetsons. It's very
Retro sci-fi.
Yeah.
Is that good? Do you guys like that?
I mean, I don't mind it. It's a
Yeah.
it's a choice. Kind of depends on
Okay.
whether the movie itself is good, you know.
Mm-hmm.
I thought it looked fun. I said, but I'll say again, I'm a little disappointed that they're doing this fucking Galactus plot again. But and I don't give a shit about the Silver Surfer or the Silver Surfect, one way or the other. But I like what's his face, the main actor. What's his name?
What's
Pedro
his face, the man?
Pedro Pascal. And Vanessa Kirby seems like a nice looking lady and a good actress. And I like Eben, whatever his face is, that's doing the thing.
Eben Moss Baccarat.
And I don't give a shit about Johnny Storm. He could not even be in the movie for all I care.
Oh, I like that. Joseph Quinn. He's a good actor.
Bring back Michael B. Jordan, you know?
He was he a Johnny whatever?
He was in the last Fantastic Four movie.
Oh, the Josh Trank one?
The one with Miles Teller.
The one that everybody hates?
Yeah, it sucked. It's not a good movie at all.
I've never seen it.
It's bad.
Me neither.
It's one of those movies that, like, I don't think it starts bad. Like, they seem to be, like, to have, like, a plot. And then, like, an hour and 10 minutes into the movie, they're like, well, we better end this. And shit just kind of happens. And they're like, the end, I guess.
Josh Trank is still in movie jail from that movie.
Yeah, well.
He hasn't made a movie since.
Real piece of
poor
shit.
guy.
Although he was reportedly terrible on set, and I think maybe this is I'm operating off memory. This is not a statement of fact, but I think I remember reading that he would like show up to set really hungover, and I guess they were shooting in and around. I think it was New Orleans, and he reportedly rented a house and absolutely fucking trashed it.
Wow. On the company
Yeah.
dime?
Oh yeah, on the studio dime.
Wow.
So he's in movie jail.
What are you guys' thoughts on Silver Surfette? Are you angry about the gender swap? Do you want to shake your
since
pitchforks?
Since it's straight night, I hate gender swapping. This amorphous silver blob from space has to
I don't like
look
where
like a
I don't like where
man.
Straight's Night is going. It's turning
It
into
needs
incel night.
where's the silver dick?
Yeah, where's the silver dong?
I'm
How am I
already
supposed
seeing,
to believe in a silver surfing woman from outer space? That's crazy. Only
When
a
are they
silver
gonna-
surfing man can come from outer space.
When are they going to update it for modern kids? They should be the silver e-bike rider, you know?
Yeah, or the silver Twitch streamer.
That seems not okay.
I think the Silver Surfer should have been played by
Okay.
Asmongold.
I don't think I
Because
know
of
who
the
that
name?
is.
Do you guys know who that is?
No.
Is that the?
No,
isn't that
he's-
one of the shitty YouTube guys? It is. Isn't
Yeah.
it?
He's a shitty YouTube
Couldn't
streamer.
fucking pay me to care about that shit.
Twitch
Anyway,
streamer, because the kids like it. You know, they like their TikToks and their Twitch streams. We gotta keep it relevant, keep it current.
I think a lot of kids watch YouTube. Silver Roblox. Silver e-bikes, and the silver e-bike rider can do fucking wheelies down the sidewalk. That's what happens
That'd
with the
be
kids
cool.
around me. That's what it's like here.
Oh.
They pop wheelies.
Oh my
on
god,
e-bikes?
it's Wheelie Town. Every kid wheeling their bikes.
Wheelie Town.
Wheelie Town. Like long wheelies. Like basically half the kids that live in a 10-mile radius of me can pop a wheelie and hold it indefinitely. And you'll just see them riding miles with one tire in the air.
Wow.
It's wild. Connor's trying to learn how to do
Kind
it.
of impressive. How's that going?
Not great for him, but he's trying.
Around here, you get the ATV gangs occasionally who will
Oh.
do a little ATV parade down the street, and they'll wheelie those things and like stand on them and do all kinds of crazy nonsense.
Wait, ATV? You mean like a four-wheeler?
Yeah,
They're doing four-wheeler tricks in your neighborhood?
not in my neighborhood, but you know, around
Oh.
roundabouts within the
I don't know if
greater
this- I don't-
metropolitan area.
I don't know if it's like this everywhere. I assume not, but in Florida, it's golf carts. Every adult with enough income for a second vehicle owns their own golf cart that they use to ride around in their neighborhood. It's weird.
I feel like
And dumb.
that's pretty common
Is it?
in warmer climates. Yeah.
I mean, you see some of
Oh,
them that have like
anyways.
8 seats and like gas engines, and it's
Yeah,
wild
it's weird.
stuff.
All right, well, I think we've covered the hot gaming news for this evening. I'd say it's time to get into this
You'd be wrong.
magnum-sized chunker.
I believe you would be incorrect.
Oh, we have some plugs to do.
Yeah. Well, and first, we should mention that we had a vote on the Patreon for what
yeah.
genre of game the next vote is going to be. So the new vote should be live, hopefully, by the time this episode releases. And the winning genre was point and click.
Point and click, yeah.
Jim, could you be
Couldn't
more
have-
disappointed in this decision?
No, this was a disappointing outcome.
Uh,
I will respect the will of the voters, but begrudgingly.
But we won't
Johnny
respect
and I
you,
are-
the voters.
Johnny and I are over the moon. I will
Don't
speak
speak
on
for
his
Johnny.
behalf. We love pointing. We love clicking. He points, I click. I point, he clicks. It's, you know, a tandem friendship, point and click adventure. That's what we're going to go on, all four of us. And it's going to be great.
What are we? Well, I guess we're still trying to figure out what games we're gonna nominate in that genre for the vote.
Yeah.
but-
We'll
You guys just
figure
need
that
to, like,
out.
find something you're excited about and nominate it. Put
I'm
one
not
of
excited about any of it.
Put one of your dark picture darlings up there. That's a point and click.
Is that a?
No,
That's
it's
not
not.
a point and click. You're controlling a character in 3 dimensions.
Point and click can be 3D. I've played plenty of.
But you're
3D
not like
point and
you're
click
not
games.
control. You're not like you're not.
Absolutely
control- you're
no
not
human
using
would refer to
3D
the dark
controls.
picture games as a point and click game, Vanessa. Grow up.
Wow.
Anyway, so point and click won that, and we will have a list of games up soon to vote on. Go to patreon.com/squarerootspodcast to join in on that vote. What are you going to torture us with? Boy, I hope it's terrible. Can't be worse than Sonic the Dark Chronicles. Anyway, we also have some streams. Holy moly.
Yeah.
Do we?
Yeah, on YouTube every Wednesday at 8 o'clock East. Most Wednesdays at 8 o'clock Eastern. We like to pop on to YouTube and chat with our listener friends while we play a game for you to enjoy.
Yeah, and
Vanessa just wrapped up Journeyman 3.
Journeyman 3, Legacy of Time, the greatest game ever made. It was really good.
Do you still feel that way after you played it for the stream?
Yep, it was amazing. It was great. The only thing I regret about streaming it is that I get self-conscious that people didn't want to listen to the whole historical fact monologue from the little robot.
Sure did.
About each location, so I did have to skip some of it, but I might just go back and listen to it for my own edification, you know?
Nothing has been more like just absolutely depressing to me than realizing that Vanessa's favorite game as a kid was an edutainment game that provides you with a little robot best friend that seems to like you and chat you up and what's it called? Riz? Yeah, riz you up and like just generally like what a fucking depressing revelation.
A little helmet hype man. And I'm still looking for a little helmet hype man to this day.
That's you're saying Johnny's not your little helmet hype man?
Johnny's my little helmet hype man.
He does have a head like a basketball, so.
He does.
Hey, speaking of Johnny has a YouTube channel called Bears and Games Neo, where he talks about bears and games and Switch ports of games.
Yeah, and it's really good, and it keeps getting better and better with each video he comes out with, and pretty soon he's going to realize he's better than us.
Yeah, he told me he started working on his next video, the actual editing process, so that's exciting. I can't remember what it's about. He's told us 10 times. Oh, it's the 2022 Saints Row remake in his Coopered Opens Worlds video documentary.
Oh, been working on that one for a minute.
Yeah, he has. He's been busy. He's a busy boy.
Yeah, I played that one with him. I make a cameo in that video.
Yeah, go check that out. He's got videos on queer history, the queer history in gaming. He's got Switch reviews, and they're all pretty excellent. If you have not been to that channel yet, please go check it out, Bears and Games Neo. Give it some likes, give it some subscribes, watch some videos. My favorite is still the Simpsons episode. I've watched that one a couple of times. I like it a lot. Okay.
Sweet.
Well, without further ado, I suppose, it's time to open up the quest log.
Well, let's see. Where did we leave off last time? Wait, where did we leave off? We were told that we need to go. Oh, we went and saw the Pope.
Yeah, that's right.
And the Pope was like, "Hey, you need to go find the Grandia saber, so that we can kill Valmar."
Mm-hmm.
And you agreed to do it because that sounds like the good thing to do.
Yep. And we're taking Elena with us because she is full of Valmar, and they don't want her hanging around the holy city.
Yeah, she's got Valmar all up in her. But the Pope tells us that the Grandia saber rests with the Legion of Darkness, which strikes a chord with Rowan. We're gonna call him Rowan because that's what they call him in the game.
All right.
And he says, "Let's go to Cyrum Kingdom."
Mm-hmm.
So the next dungeon that you have to do that's between the Saint Heim and Cyrum Kingdom is Rowell Hills. This is a dungeon that you can optionally revisit later in the game. There's an area in it that's got like a little maze. It's like ruins of an old building, and it's like a maze that you can run around in. If you come back here later, that maze is full of devil monsters who, if you don't kill them immediately with your most powerful spells, they will cast Baboom, which is the most powerful spell in the game, and one-shot you and kill you.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, I did run around.
Why are we talking about that?
Just a little preview.
Yeah.
Wait, so Raoul Garden or whatever is the
Raoul Hills.
is the
That's the optional dungeon.
Yeah, that's weird.
Mm-hmm.
You actually
Just go back to Raoul Hills.
You actually skipped a part, which is before Raoul Gardens. When you leave the city, you walk across when you leave what was it called? The Papal
Papal
City. Yeah, you go on the Pope Road.
You go on the Pope Road.
Oh yeah,
and
you
climb
go on the Pilgrim
off
Road.
the Pope Road, and there's lots of little monsters and treasures and stuff to find.
Yeah, I almost
I
missed
love
that.
this. I wish that there was more of this in the game.
I do like one of the things that's really satisfying in these dungeons is like opening up an alternative route or finding a little hidden passageway that leads to like a really cool item.
Mm-hmm.
The game really rewards exploration in a good way.
Yeah, I wish there was more of it, because while you're right, each of the levels they're all pretty small. So typically you'll find a thing, or like there's lots of little treasures around, but this was neat. As you're walking down the little papal stairs, you can see that there's a ladder on one side, and if you investigate that, you'll realize that you can climb over the side and just go run around in the grass and fight monsters and find lots of little treasures. And I cleared this whole
I don't know
thing
if I
out.
found that.
Yeah, it's there.
I don't know.
I cleared the whole thing out. It was a good fun time. There were a few treasures and stuff hanging around.
Mm-hmm.
And then we head through
That's
Raoul
fun.
Hills, which is a wide open area. I think it's the first one that we've run across that's just kind of field.
Yeah, there's a lot.
Yeah, until you get to those ruins, at least,
And
and it's kind of a mizzy maze.
it's this area is fun. It kind of forces you. There's a river where the bridge is out, and so it forces you to go through like a little rundown fort. There's lots of like lizard men monsters running around, which are a lot of fun.
So I have a question. How far have you guys, how many, have you guys invested in all the moves? That's the question I want to ask.
I've been working on those for
Does it-
sure.
Have you at least unlocked them all?
Because I realized that in the beginning you were talking up the books and unlocking all of that, but
yeah.
I realized that there's only so many slots that you can fill, so unlocking all of the stuff in the books isn't really necessary, or maxing it all out. So I kind of got what I wanted and maxed that stuff out, and have now been focusing on the moves and stuff. Ryudo has I think I may have mentioned it last week, but Ryudo has a great move with Sky, where Sky picks an enemy up into the air and then drops him, and Ryudo does his Tenseiken slash on him.
Oh, yeah.
That one's pretty fantastic. I unlocked Elena's white power skill this week.
White Apocalypse.
White Apocalypse, that's right. Yeah, she's a member of Stormfront, I think. That one's a good big boom attack that's fun to use. The Chapel Rowan has a dragon slash thing that he does where he uppercuts with his knives that does a ton of damage.
That is like one of the best moves in the entire game. The only thing that sucks about Rowan's moves is that none of them are AoE and none of them hit like all of the enemies. So like if you're fighting one enemy, that Dragon Rise move is a killer.
He's a good
it does so much damage.
He's a good finisher character, like Ryudo and what's the cat's name?
The cat? Merrig?
Ryudo and Merrig go in and do a ton of damage, and if they don't wipe him out, he's great at running in and just finishing off multiple enemies, which I really appreciate. And then Elena's great with magic and having her you don't want to expend all your MP. I do have a bunch of MP restoring stuff now, but for most of the game I didn't. So I just kind of have been using her as a focus of like, just use the solo attack spells and one-shot one of the enemies.
Yeah, that's the thing, and like the game really wants you to use the powers and the spells a lot. So like the more you can, I will say like the spells that you unlock when you've upgraded enough of your magic get to be super duper powerful.
Yeah, I have some crazy ones at this point for sure, but that's later in this chunker where I got like Electric Dragon and some of that stuff.
Oh, Dragon Zap, yeah, that's a fun one.
Yeah, that stuff's kind of crazy. My only real complaint about it, which I've mentioned before, is that I see it, I like it. I wish I could skip it after the second time, you know?
I agree. And later in the game, like your character, like you're just spamming these spells and the moves kind of over and over again. So you're watching these animations dozens and dozens of times. It gets pretty old.
Yeah, and I get that for like the original version, but for a remaster, like why didn't they work in a skip key? It's a little weird.
Yeah.
Anyway.
All right, so we go through Raul Hills, then we reach Cyrum Kingdom, and Rowan
Raul
tells
Hills has
you
the
that-
mushrooms too, right? The like big mushrooms that you can.
Oh, they have
they
Rowan Hills
bubbles?
has
What
the
are
like
they?
inflating pods, the inflating bubble pods. There's not really a lot of stuff in those though. It's usually enemies or nothing.
A few of them have something.
Yeah, they'll have nuts in them that you can use to.
Oh, that's
power
right.
nuts
Yeah,
in
I
'em.
got lots of nuts. I got the power nuts, which is your guys' favorite. But I also found some patience nuts.
Every man loves a power nut.
Yeah, but every woman loves a patience nut. And what are some of the other kinds of nuts?
Oh, there's the
Like
quick
a-
nut.
there's
That's
a-
probably the most common kind of nut that you're gonna run across in the world.
There's a myriad power nut.
Oh. There's a
Um,
golden nut.
There's a golden nut.
Oh boy, I think that means that you need to change something in your diet.
So the
I love
nuts, what do
pineapple
they
juice.
do? I don't know that I ever
Well,
used
so
any of these
obviously a
nuts.
bunch of them are power-up nuts. A bunch of them are power-ups that'll give you a point in a stat. But
It's like within combat, though.
but yes, there are also some combat nuts, and those are like, they do what they say. It ups your speed, it ups your power, it ups your the enemies. There's
Attack,
weak
yeah.
nuts, which I assume is the type that Jim is the most familiar with. Those are the ones.
Yeah.
Oh, exhaustion nut.
Yeah, an exhaustion nut. That's the one I'm most familiar with. They do what they say. They lower their attack, they lower defense, they slow down enemies.
Is there a depression nut?
Yeah.
An instant regret nut.
And then at the end of the Rail Wheels, you have to go hop on a boat to get out of there, which I thought was fun. I don't know why. I like a
That is
boat.
fun.
Get me on this boat.
Yeah, it's good times. But when we get to Cyrum, Rowan is like, hey, this is where I live. I'm from here. And he tells you that
he had been hinting at that pretty hard. In fact, he hadn't been hinting at it. He told us that. He was like, yeah, hey, we're going to go back to my hometown, Cyrum. It sucks there. I don't like it, and it's bad, and I hate it.
Yeah. And you learn why.
Well, when we get there, he like splinters off with the group. He's like, I'm gonna go home, and Ryudo's like, oh, I guess he's gonna go back to whatever tent or shack he lives in.
Yeah.
Is there any doubt as to what the twist here is going to be? Did anybody
No.
even remotely?
Yeah.
I mean, John's not here to be the odd man out. To be like, "I don't know."
I'm sure Johnny
Yeah.
was very surprised.
Yeah, he's a little fancy boy. He's a prince.
Yeah.
Can we just go ahead and say it? He's a prince, Prince Rowan. You learn that Cyrum has a dark past. They were the descendants of darkness, and they fought on the side of Valmar during the Battle of Good and Evil.
Holy shit.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
crazy.
They're Germans, basically.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. They're like secret Nazis.
That makes
But
sense.
I guess
He
they
is a
don't believe
little
in that
blonde
anymore.
boy. Jim has
Never-
frozen.
I don't-
Yeah, I think
I
the
don't
tornado
really
might have
understand
got
what
him.
their deal is now.
Oh no! Don't say that.
Oh, he's back.
Oh, there we go.
Vanessa
Sorry,
said you
my
were-
internet's weird.
Vanessa said you had died.
I didn't say that. I said the tornado got you. That could mean any
Yeah, the
number
weather-
of things.
There is a pretty... I mean, it's not a big storm, but it's an intense storm that's kind of moving over right now, so...
Well, thank God you're in your basement. Do you want to have your mother come down and join you? It's fine. She can sit quietly.
Thank Grannis. Everybody left for dinner. I'm the only one here.
Oh, really? That's
Yeah.
seems like a bad idea. So, yeah, the Cyrum minions are the people of darkness, and that's a real bummer. Rowan is the prince. Holy shit.
Yeah, so
He doesn't like Cyrum.
No.
No, because they're the people of darkness.
Yeah.
And
They're the people of darkness, and it's said that like once they regain their pride, the gates of darkness will open again.
awesome.
Yeah, sounds cool. You get a whole scene here, though, where you're hanging out with Elena.
Yep.
During this fun festival.
Oh, yeah. So just a quick correction. Last week I gave Vanessa shit about forgetting a scene where Milennia. Yeah, Milennia like writes on the mirror, like, I know you like Ryudo. That was this week. That happens now.
Yeah, he gave me such shit for not remembering.
It's my fault. I was wrong. And I own that, and I apologize, Vanessa.
Thank you. Apology accepted. I'm vindicated. I'm vindicated.
Oh, fuck. You know, I shouldn't have said anything. Now I gotta hear the Vindication song. You know, this is called rubbing salt in the wound. You make it so that I don't want to apologize for future mistakes.
A margarita.
I like that it wounds you to apologize to Vanessa.
It doesn't, but then she fucking rubs my face in it with her Vindication song. And that wounds me.
A salty rim. So we decided to like go on a date with Elena, I guess.
All right. No. That's not what
Pretty
happens.
much.
We need to get some information, and there is a guy in town that we think is going to have that information, but he's a real crabby asshole, but he loves love, so we're going to go pretend to be on a date so that he will give us the information. And then this starts a running gag of people assuming that Ryudo and Elena are a couple, and Elena being very embarrassed about it, and Ryudo, I think, just not getting it almost, which is weird.
Well,
Ryudo's like... Sorry, go ahead.
He hates women, and he can't imagine that anyone would assume that he would be with a woman because he so famously hates them.
Maybe you should try one of those power nuts, you know? Probably change his tune.
Hates women and God.
Who doesn't hate God, you know?
So what is the deal? Why are we looking for this guy, and why are we pretending to be a couple? Are we trying to get, like, information?
Yes.
Yeah, we're trying to learn about Melphis or something, right?
We're trying to learn about the sword.
Oh, right. We're trying to learn about the Grandia Saber.
Right. So we
go talk to this guy.
Yeah,
he
we
turns
go to
out to be
see
a real
him.
weirdo.
Yeah, everyone has said, like, he loves couples, but what he actually loves is, like, being a real piece of shit. Because as soon as you go in there with her, he's like, oh, why are you with this loser? You should be with me. I'm way stronger.
Yeah.
I'm the coolest. I'm the best.
Dump this zero and get with a hero. There is a whole festival outside that we get to play in, and that's
frozen for you.
Fun. Yeah. Am I? I'm frozen?
Maybe he's dead.
Maybe the tornado got him.
I can hear you, and you're saying I'm dead. Don't say I'm
Just
dead.
wait for him to come back. So
Yeah.
we arm wrestle him in a bullshit mini game, which, as far as I can tell, is, like, impossible.
Yeah, I don't think there's a way to win this. There's not like a success state for this game.
But it has mechanics as if there would be, because it's like press...
But they don't really work.
No, it's like press RB to push against him and mash A to regain your energy. But...
Yeah, you have like stamina and power, and you have to like... But like when you start... The thing is, like, once you start laying off the power in order to regain your stamina... he just beats you.
Yeah, it's ridiculous. Except that Elena steps in and she's like, hey, what's over there? And he looks over there and you beat him.
Real fun comedy moment.
Mm-hmm.
Good times.
And then he says that he doesn't know anything about the sword anyway. So, big
Yeah, he
waste
didn't
of
even
time.
have any good information at all.
Yeah. So we gotta walk around with Elena a little bit more. She gets tired and hot. She, like me, gets the
wants a
vapors.
juice.
She wants a juice.
It's like, get me a juice.
Yeah. She's like, I need my juice. And her blood pressure,
There's like,
or her blood sugar is just crashing. So.
yeah, and there's like, we go to the juice vendor and we have to cycle through like 5 different like pieces of dialogue about different kinds of juice.
Yeah, it's like,
and how it's not suitable for Elena.
tells you about love juice and spicy juice and like cactus water or something like that.
Yeah.
And finally,
it's like a hibiscus one or
yeah.
something.
I mean, they all sounded kind of good to me. I'd try these juices.
Me too. They sounded very refreshing,
Mm-hmm.
I thought.
But finally we get some plain juice, but by the time we get back to Elena, she has succumbed to her low blood sugar and turned into Milennia.
Milennia is like her the personification of her diabetes.
Yep. And Millennia's like, hey, my pancreas doesn't process sugar and glucose. So let's walk around some more.
Yeah, and she's really coming on strong to Ryudo
Oh, yeah,
here.
she's into it. She does
She
not
loves
care
him.
if people think they're a couple. She wants them to know.
Yeah.
I came across this kid who wanted to write a poem about the two of us. And I was like, sure, go ahead. And Millennia starts in with like, oh, come on, just let him write the, you said yes? Whoa!
Well, because boys don't like poems.
That's right.
Yeah.
I took her to the goldfish fishing booth.
Oh, I didn't do that one.
There's a kid in town who will tell you that the trick is to smile at the goldfish, and that's how you catch them. And so Ryudo can try, and he does like the expression from Disco Elysium. He does not have a good smile. He's like,
the like weird smile that your character does. Yeah.
And he does not catch any fish, but Milennia catches 5 or something. And I think you get a pow nut or whatever they're called for that.
Like a bao fruit?
Yeah, something.
Those bao fruits are super handy. They restore a lot of your SP.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
And then I just kind of like wandered. I tried going back to the tent with her, thinking that guy maybe would like. Have
was his name like Heimble?
I don't remember, but he just wants to arm wrestle you some more, and
yeah, pretty boring.
It was boring. So you just have to kind of wander around until you run into the kid again.
Now you run into Merrick and Rowan, and they're like, "Oh no, there's trouble in the castle." Word on the street is that the royal family, the king of Cyrum, is going to open the gates of darkness, or gate of darkness, not doors of darkness.
It sounds like a terrible idea.
Yeah, it sounds like a really bad idea, and they're like, "Oh no, it sounds like maybe there's another seal of Grannis in there." Which means maybe there is another piece of Valmar up in there. So you decide to go check it out.
Mm-hmm. We take a little gondola to the castle. And sneak in the back way.
Yeah, and this is where we learn that Rowan is the prince.
Mm-hmm.
He looks like his haircut. He gets a different haircut when he becomes king. And he looks like, have you ever seen the movie Cabin Boy?
Yes. I mean, no,
but I know
what you mean.
He looks like the guy from Cabin Boy.
Yeah, he has like a little page boy haircut kind of thing.
He has a little bob.
Yep.
It's really dumb.
We
go talk to the king.
Sewers is kind of fun.
Oh, yeah, that part is fun.
It's got some levers and things like that.
Yeah, there's some switches and some light environment puzzling.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not dead, you fucks. I heard you.
You still heard us? How'd you still hear us?
I hear
lying.
everything.
He's just guessing at what we said.
You said maybe he's dead.
Yeah, and then we
and then there was a joy in your voice that made me very unhappy.
We meet the gatekeeper who like floats on top of a disc or something.
Nope. Gonna roll it back. Arm wrestling! Okay. Is this the worst minigame you've ever played in your life?
We already talked about that.
I don't care. We're talking about it now.
Yeah,
I died.
Stupid.
It's an impossible minigame.
Is it impossible?
Yeah, I don't think it's possible to beat. I think so.
I think so.
But you can go back and do it again.
Can you beat it?
No.
I couldn't.
Okay, good.
Look, if us, 3 pro gamers, couldn't beat this minigame, then I think it's fair to say that it's impossible.
That's an excellent point.
So once we sneak into the castle, we talk to this gatekeeper. He's like, oh, you should go see your dad in his study. He's acting all wackadoo. We go to the study.
This guy's a demon sealer.
Freak.
Yeah.
There's a great mural on the wall behind him, on the door, though.
Is there? What's on it?
I don't remember, and I'd have to go get my phone if I wanted to look it up. But I took a screenshot of it because I thought it was neat.
Yeah. The king is like, yeah, I talked to some guy, and he said that opening the door is going to be rad, so that's what I'm going to do.
Yeah, he said there's a guy who's like, if you open this door, Cyrum is going to be cool again.
Yeah.
Because Rowan mentions that the entire kingdom has been living in shame
Which one of us
for
is it?
like
Is it me or him?
centuries because of their alliance. It's you.
Cool.
They've been living in shame because of their siding with Valmar.
Uh-huh. And now they're ready to make Cyrum great again, and that's what they're going to do. There's a big old rumble, and we run downstairs
Bronx?
to find that the gate has been opened.
Yeah, and Merrick said he smells Melphis.
Yeah.
I am so fucking sick of listening to Merrick talk about the things he smells.
I
And
like
why is it every time he says the word smell, it's in all caps?
Yeah, I like it.
Because you
I
he's
like-
saying it like, I smell it.
Yeah. Speaking of these characters' voices, how do you guys feel about their little exclamations in combat when they cast a spell? I think it's fucking awesome.
Like what? Give us an example.
Like whenever Ryudo does his Sky Dragon Slash, he says, "Sworn enemies, you will be defeated." And then he throws his sword in the air and he says, "Take that." And then he goes, "Sky Dragon Slash." And he does it every single time.
I have been playing this game mostly on mute, I have to admit.
Oh,
and so I've missed out
you
on
gotta
a lot of
turn the
this.
volume up and hear this dialogue, because Rowan, his ones are pretty funny because, one, he has like a little baby voice, but when you cast like I have a lot of my lightning spells on Rowan, and so when he casts like Dragon Zap, he'll say something like 100 million volts, and then the spell goes off.
That does sound pretty
they're all-
amazing.
They're all so good. We'll talk more about Tio later, but Tio has some really great ones I'll talk about after we talk about Tio. Tio has my favorite ones actually, so but we'll get there. But I like what they say in combat. Whenever they get like knocked back in combat, or they get like a spell or a move used against them, they usually say something too, like Elena says, "I can't go on," and Ryudo says, "Damn, that hurt." Pretty cool. And Merrick says, "You'll regret that." Pretty fun stuff.
Sounds pretty fun. Pretty good.
I mean, it is fun until
like
you hear it a
it
million
a
times, and then you're like, shut up!
That's the one thing about these
Some variety
animations
would
that
be
I
nice.
didn't get tired of. Yeah, well, they're what they say varies depending on the level of the spell and the type of like element that you're using.
Oh, interesting.
And whether it's a healing, like if you're doing like a buff or like a healing spell, it's different. If you're doing an electric spell, it's different. The fire ones have their own. The ice
Rowan's
ones have
healing
their own.
spells are like, I don't know that he's allowed on this episode of the podcast because this is the Straits podcast. And he's like, oh, they're all better.
Oh man, they're so good. Anyways,
And it makes that little tinkle noise because it's like little drops. Tinkle, tinkle, tinkle.
I've noticed some weird sound effects in this game. I've been playing it for like the last week. I've been having my earbuds in, and there's a weird like, it's like a buzzer, a really like low volume buzzer sound effect that plays at random times during combat, and I have no idea what it means. It's really strange.
So we meet the demon sealer and then go see Dad, and Dad's like, make Valmar great again. And then he goes into another room and there's a huge explosion in the castle.
We go down, we pass through the demon gate, and this is the part of every RPG where it's suddenly the future.
Yep.
Yeah.
Go into an
There's a
industrial
weird-
factory. A green industrial
Yeah.
factory? Why is it green?
Everything's green.
I thought that was kind of interesting and different.
Yeah, I thought this little dungeon was pretty fun, actually. I liked the enemies in it.
It's neat because you spend a lot of time like walking over like maze-like pipes, and then that leads you down onto platforms, and then you get back onto pipes. It's
There's some good items here if you do all the piping.
Yeah, I did. I think I scoured every pipe. Because, it's straight night, and I've never met a pipe I could resist.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
a green
love
pipe.
Getting piped. Then at the end of the factory, we find a weird control room. That is like a factory for making robots.
Yep.
Yeah.
Automata.
Automata.
Do you say automata or automata?
Knock, 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 knock.
That's-
The automaton's at the door.
They say automata.
Oh, they do?
Yep.
Okay.
So I'm saying what they say, which is automata.
Yeah, and one like comes down from the ceiling, and it looks like she has like a face hugger, but on the back of her head.
And she is the Claws of Valmar.
Yeah, and then you got to fight another Valmar boss.
Did you have
Wait,
trouble with this, Jim?
In my first playthrough of the game, I was not following my own rule of killing everything in the dungeons. I was like trying to run past a lot of enemies, thinking I was cool and clever. And I got to the boss and got my little butt spanked.
Yep, that's what happens in JRPGs. Pretty much any game where you're going to level up by fighting enemies. If you skip them all, then you get to the boss and you're not leveled up.
Yeah.
Yep.
But then I went back and killed everything in the dungeon, and everything was smooth sailing.
Yeah, remind me what this
Nice.
one looks like. This is like another scorpion spider thing, right?
I'll put a thing in the group chat. I have a thing pulled up here. Yeah, it's like a weird monster. A Valmar monster.
I only remember it as the girl lady. Oh, there it is. Yeah, it's like a scorpion. It's got a stingy tail.
Yeah, it's got
a
those
big mouth.
arms that can do a lot of damage. The thing about these Valmar bosses is that if you just kill the core of it, it will die.
Yep.
So just use your most powerful spells, whether they'll attack the whole field or not. Use them. Make sure the core gets hit. Usually in a maybe 3 or 4 rounds, it's dead.
Mm-hmm.
So I was surprised. The game is really forgiving with letting you cast your most powerful things.
Yeah, there is a hard mode, and the way I saw it described online was that the normal mode is an easy mode, and the hard mode is a normal mode.
Oh, interesting. So is there more grinding in that mode, or because these enemies don't really respawn? I wonder how that works.
Told you what I know.
Okay. Well, we fight the Claws of Valmar. I like the fact that all the bosses are different, like Valmar body parts. It kind of reminds me of Genova, how you fight different Genova forms throughout Final Fantasy VII. That's fun.
It's fine.
Yeah.
Doesn't excite me. It is what it is. Got to get those
So we,
Valmar body parts. How come all of the Valmar body parts are big monsters, but Milennia is just like a hot rod?
It does explain that, but not till much later in the game.
Okay.
Yeah, we'll wait.
Because his horniness was in his wings, I guess, probably. It's where his libido resides, Valmar,
So once we beat it, Milennia absorbs the claws into her body.
Oh, yeah, this is another one that's all Milennia, no Elena, right?
Yeah. How do you feel about playing as Milennia versus Elena?
I really like Milennia. I don't. Two things. I don't love. We talked about this part of this last week. I don't love that you have to re-equip that motherfucker.
It's
I get
awful.
and it's not everything, which is the weirdest part. Her items are fine, and I get needing to change the weapon at least. I guess that makes sense. Because one uses a staff or whatever, and one uses a bow. But otherwise, why do I need to re-equip the mana egg, and why do I need to re-equip the stat boost stuff? Fucking leave it alone.
Yeah, the skills you have to re-equip every single time the characters switch, and the egg for some reason doesn't stay equipped. Super dumb.
I don't like that it's either or. Like, why not just give us both? Like, I like Milennia. Keep her in the party. Like, make it a thing. Like, why? Yeah. Because for me, like, Elena's my healer, but Millennia's not. I don't know. I haven't looked at her stats. I wonder if they're the same. But it's
the only thing that they're pretty close to the same. I think the one thing about Milennia though is that her moves, like when she does her Valmar moves, they take forever to cast. Yeah. Like when I was playing with her towards the end of the game, my other characters would have 2 turns to her casting time for her Valmar.
You can speed that up with stuff.
Yeah, you can give some. So I was going to ask you, Matt, which stat is it that dictates how long it takes to perform an action in the action bar?
I don't know.
That's the action
That's
stat,
not
right?
a stat. No, the action stat controls how fast they move along the IP bar until you get to the command section. And then the command section to the execute section is based like on the skill you choose. And that's just it.
Oh, okay.
You can't buff that, really. I mean, there's some stuff that makes SP moves go faster, so that can help.
Yeah, yeah. I have that on Ryudo, and he can cast his Sky Dragon Slash in like a second.
Yeah.
And for a couple of the other characters, I have like it's that same thing, but it affects like their time to cast magic. So like in mine, like Rowan can cast his electricity magic super duper fast, like almost instantaneously.
Also, when Milennia is in your party and she kills the last enemy, so every battle when the character that kills the last enemy gets a little showy ending thing, right? Well, and most games do something like this.
It's like a little fanfare.
Milennia's is that the camera, she bends over and the camera very deliberately every single time swirls around her butt. And that, I don't love that, honestly. I know that this is the straight episode of Square Roots, but I don't love that. Like, stop showing me your butt, please.
Have you guys gotten any flawless victories yet where you finish a battle without taking any damage?
Oh, no, I don't think so.
Sure.
There is special. So, like as Matt said, every time you finish a battle, the character that does the finishing move gets a little bit of dialogue in the fanfare, and there's different dialogue for the flawless victories, which is fun.
I haven't noticed that, and I'm sure I've had several because I've one-shot the fucking field at least several times.
Yeah, because it went like a regular battle. If you finish with Ryudo, he says, you got to practice if you want to beat me. Yep. And then if you do a flawless victory and finish with Ryudo, he says, these guys were no challenge.
I feel like Elena's the one that I would have seen the most because she's got Burn Flame, and if they're grouped close enough together, I will Burn Flame the whole field.
Hers is my favorite because, well, just during the regular battles, she says, gotta work even harder.
Yeah.
And the flawless victory, she says something like, good prayers for the road ahead or something like that. Hers seem like the least relevant. You don't know what I'm talking about?
No.
I've heard it like a bajillion times.
I have not heard this at all.
And if you do a finishing move as Rowan when you do a flawless victory, he says, these guys were a breeze. Really silly. I will say, even though the voice acting in the game can be kind of cringy, in that, like, I don't know, it's really earnest, which is kind of cringy, I guess. But it's way better than the voice acting in Grandia 1, which was fucking 100% terrible from toe to tip.
Tip to toe.
It sucked. Mm-hmm. All right, so Milennia absorbs the claws. Rowan gets really mad, and I guess this part made me laugh. Accidentally triggers a self-destruct sequence when he crashes out.
Punches the fucking control panel.
Yeah.
Yeah, and one of I think this is supposed to be the automata that has the claws of Valmar attached to it.
Yeah.
But we save the automata. Merrick picks her up.
Yeah, it doesn't have a
and, takes her
soul,
out.
so when Milennia eats the claws, it doesn't affect her.
Yeah, it's fine.
Yeah, it's okay to show her nude because she ain't got no soul.
Yeah, and that's why they
Yeah.
do that. Merrick wants to be buddies with this little automata.
Yeah, Merrick wants to teach this automata how to have freedom.
Yeah, he's very honorable. He's a Klingon basically, which I don't
Yeah.
love.
And the other people are like,
Oh, you don't?
why do you want this thing? It sucks. We don't want it. But
No, they don't
he
care.
just-
Leave it to die. Who fucking
Yeah.
cares? It's a toy. It's a piece of junk.
Yeah.
But Merrick brings it along. And when we get out, right?
Well, we talk to Rowan first. We get this whole cutscene with Rowan talking to his countrymen. And he's like, we're not going to be the country that lives in shame anymore. And then he unfurls the flag. They have like a...
Yeah, the Nazi
They
flag.
have a...
Yeah, the Nazi
Yeah,
flag.
he unfurls the original flag, which is like got the crest of Valmar on
Yep.
it. I guess they're just going to fly it.
Yep, just
Oh,
like the neo-Nazi party is on the rise in Germany, he has decided that they're going to stop being ashamed of their past and just embrace it.
Where else is the neo-Nazi party on the rise, Vanessa? Anywhere else in the world that you think is notable? Anywhere worth talking about?
Cyrum.
Yeah.
So the automata wakes up and tells us that her name is Tio.
I love T.O.
And this is when
Tio's the
Rowan
best.
says, "See ya, motherfuckers," and leaves the party.
Yep.
Yeah, Rowan's like, I'm going to stay here because my dad is super dead.
Yeah.
And
I'm the
I'm
king
going to be
now.
the king now.
His dad's not dead.
He's dead,
He's not
right?
dead.
He died.
I thought
His
he
dad
died.
is not dead.
Then how is he the
Uh,
king?
He takes over.
Yeah, how's he the king now?
So,
I thought it was like you don't get to retire the mantle of the king, do you?
well, sometimes
Okay,
you do. if
first
you're
of
like-
all, this is a fantasy world. They can do whatever the fuck they want.
That's true.
Ain't no law in Valmar Town, you know? Second of all, I'm positive the father is still alive. We talked to him afterwards. He doesn't tell us what happens, but Roan does take over and leaves the party. And I was like, give me back my motherfucking stat points, you piece of shit. Every fucking point I sunk into your stupid skills, I want back right now. At least this does make the mana egg thing a little more palatable because all of the points that I sank into that mana egg, I can now just move on to the next person.
Who is Tio? The little sexy baby robot. She's, one of these things is like, I was just born, but I'm a fully grown woman physically. I don't understand
God.
the world. What is love?
She has little
She-
antenna, which I find pretty delightful.
Yeah, she's got two little they look like the antennas on who's that guy from the Flintstones? The little alien guy?
No, not Alan Cumming. Oh no.
Yeah, he's got a little Alan
the great
Cumming
Gazoo.
she's got Gazoo antenna.
Oh no.
Now it's time for a classic square root segment, and that is
You hashtag get Gazooed?
nope.
I wasn't expecting to get gazooed tonight, but what else can I gazoo?
Gadoo.
As we leave the town, Tio decides to join the party. So we've got a new party member. Let's discuss this outfit, guys. I shared it in the little
Let me look
group
it
chat
up.
for you.
Oh, you got it.
Yeah.
She's got cool pink antenna and yellow kind of, I don't know what that's called, but it's like a short
like
skirt.
a tunic. She has a tunic,
Tunic.
on.
Yeah.
She has kind of fairy wings, maybe?
Yeah, she kind of has little wings, which is weird because I don't remember using those.
Maybe it's
Can
just
she fly?
clothing.
Is this like a thing?
No, she never flies. Well, no, I don't think so.
She has
she
little clog
has a-
shoes and some knee-high socks.
She does wear clogs. Can we talk about her weapons? I like the fact that she uses like chakrams as her weapon. Pretty neat. Pretty cool.
Oh yeah, give me back all the money that I spent on your fucking weapons and armor, Roan, you piece of shit.
Yeah, you would think
She has
like,
a little
as
red light
king-
on her tummy. Is that a light, do you think? Or is that just like a belt?
I think it's a
I think
light.
it's a light.
She's a robot.
She's a robot.
Yeah, it's like a status light.
You would
For
think that as
a-
king, Rowan could be like, here's, 50,000 gold to help you on your quest to save the world.
Yeah, he's fucking rich.
It is. I find this a little strange for an automata that was created in a factory. Like, somebody dressed this little robot up, right? Like, why does she even have, like, socks and shoes and a tunic? She's got a big gold necklace.
Maybe
She's got
maybe
earrings?
Valmar's just a big perv. He's like, make me some robots, but make them look hot.
Yeah, make them sexy.
Make it so I can almost see their underwear. Tio's cool though. I mentioned like the battle dialogue earlier. Tio has what I think is the best dialogue. So like when she usually it's just one word. So like
Yes.
where I said Roan is like he usually says something really like kiddish and dumb. Tio when she casts like I have a lot of my really powerful ice spells, blizzard spells on Tio, and when she casts like the most powerful one, I think it's called Crackling.
Yeah.
She says one of two things. She either says white
Yeah.
or
Cold.
ice. Oh yeah, cold. It's cold. Cold.
I was kind of looking into some of this, like, loadouts for these characters and stuff, and, like, basically what they said is that your character with the highest mag stat should be your caster, your main caster, and with the highest men stat should be your healer. So Elena has the highest men stat in the game, and Tio has the highest mag stat in the game. So I did end up putting the I was doing the same thing for a while, but then I did switch it over and put the good egg, whichever one it is, with the boom spells, because those seem to be the most powerful.
Oh yeah,
big burning spells.
Yeah, those explosion spells are the most powerful. So you get like boom, and then there's like a meteor strike one that's attached to another egg.
Burn
And then
strike
there's
is one, and that one does just a fuckload of damage. Particularly if you add that 10 to 50%, which if you've got it maxed out would be 50% bonus to damage output. Like that thing goes ham.
I will say, like, outside of your comment about the stats, Matt, that definitely helped, especially later in the game, because like the men stat is your magic defense. So you kind of want that on Elena because she has her droplets of life move.
Yeah.
And that move will resurrect dead people to full health, and then give everyone full health, and also cure all of your status ailments all at the same time.
Yeah.
So like if she's the last one standing, it's great because you can just cast that, and then you're back to where like you started.
That's the water buff.
The droplets of life is that.
But what are you saying to put on her? The one that
ability's called.
increases men?
Yes.
But there's also one that increases water spells, which all the healing spells are water spells.
You can put both on her.
Yeah, you can really fucking buff the shit out of these characters.
You can, and there's a book. I don't know if we have it yet. I think we'll get it soon if we don't. But there's one, and all of the abilities in this book are elemental chants. So like I said, I have my blizzard and ice spells on Tio. I gave her like a glacial chant and totally maxed it out. So those spells for her do 50% more in damage than they would otherwise. And so like I have the forest and water ones on Elena. I have the like glacier one on Tio. I have the explosion one for Ryudo, and I have the lightning one on the other character. And it's like my characters just do so much damage. It's wild.
It's also worth noting that the Phoenix Down, essentially, it's called a Yomi elixir that you get from the start of the game, does resurrect to full health. Like, that's not a problem.
Yeah, that's very handy. And like when you get to, I actually after this chunker, if you have that pirate ring, or pirate ring ability on one of your characters in your party, enemies will be dropping hot Yomis all the time. Like it's real useful to have that on, and enemies will start dropping seeds pretty soon. And the seeds will, depending on the seed, will raise one of your base stats.
Yeah, we've already talked about that. That's already
but there's also seeds that you'll get later that will improve your HP, MP, and SP by 10% every time you use one. So like it's really useful to have that pirate ring on because like you can really beef up your characters with these seeds.
It also works no matter who it's on, so it doesn't matter. Like you don't have to try and like, oh, I'm going to put it on the person that finishes the most enemies, and no, just put it on somebody who's got a spot, and you're good to go.
Yeah, good stuff. I like a RPG where the stats are easy to manipulate without a lot of grinding. It's good stuff.
So after doing Cyrum, I think the next destination is obvious because Ryudo, they were told like you're gonna have to deal with your past, and so Ryudo of course is like, we gotta go back to my hometown of Garland.
Yeah, Rowan tells you that there's a boat that you can use to get across the Grandia Cliffs. And Ryudo's village on the other side of the Grandia Cliffs, and this is where we meet Bakala, the salty sea captain with a boat called the 50-50.
They sort of discuss why it's called the 50-50, and they're like, oh, I guess it's just a boat thing.
Yeah, probably just like a sailor thing.
It's just a boat. That's what boats are called.
But when we get on there, we get on the boat and we're on our little trip, and there's a scene where it shows Merrick like using this pump over and over again, and he's like, I don't know why I'm pumping this, but I'm pumping it.
Yeah.
And then Bakala comes in and he's like, yeah, keep at it. You only got 5 more days of pumping left.
That's what's keeping us afloat.
Yeah. And then when we get to the Grandia Cliffs, Ryudo's like, how are we going to get over this? And he's like, well, we're going to inflate some balloons on the boat and glide across. And you're like, well, what if there's not enough like wind current to get us through? And he's like, well, that's why you've been pumping. We'll just release the things or release the air, all the compressed air, and we'll get across.
And then he says there's a 50-50 chance it'll work. That's why it's called the 50-50.
Oh, yeah, that's why it's the 50-50, yeah. Although we are skipping, I don't even know if we really need to talk about it, but there's this little aside to these cliffs, and you have to fight.
How dare you try to skip over the most important dungeon in the game?
It's so extraneous to the point where, like, if we totally skipped it, it wouldn't affect the story at all.
That's not true. You learn so much about how Elena has tummy troubles, and we have to stop at this island, and we go wander around because we're bored, and it's a whole fucking dungeon, and then we camp out for the night. But while we're camping out, boss spider scorpion things, and we kill those. And then the next day we're like, oh shit, we better hurry back or he's going to leave without us. But the path is flooded. We have to find another way around and go back through a different section of the dungeon. And then we get back and that's the whole thing.
Yeah.
The little shrimp scorpion things that you fight are really annoying because when they aggro on you, they will bounce. And for me, like 80% of the time they landed on a character that wasn't Ryudo. So I was getting surprised in like most of these battles. Really annoying.
Yeah.
I have found that you can just kind of walk away. If they see you, they'll turn red and flash and run towards you. But if you just kind of take a few steps away, they'll stop and turn around, which is the perfect opportunity to step on them in the back and get your own surprise on. It's shockingly easy to do this.
I thought the shrimps were annoying. I think the shrimps and the birds are my least favorite. The birds, like when they're flying and they aggro on you, they will fly at an angle to where it makes it really hard to tell where you're going to make physical contact with them to initiate battle. And oftentimes they will fly directly into someone behind Ryudo because I misjudge the distance.
Yeah, the birds are hard.
Surprised by the goddamn birds. Yeah, the birds will fuck you up. Like if you get surprised by the birds, they can do a lot of damage. It's best to just like rush the birds and fight them whenever you see them. Don't try to run away.
Don't turn around, or you're gonna see the bird flashing. What's really important about this island is you get to talk to Elena about your feelings. And Ryudo's like, Elena, when I started this journey, I hated God and women. But now I just hate God because you've taught me that women are pretty okay sometimes.
He's just trying to get off that power nut.
Yeah. And she's
And
like,
let's be honest,
Ryudo,
he's been single for a long time. It's going to be a quick nut.
I thought you
He
were
wants
a
to be-
filthy
he wants-
geohound, but now I know you're a bounty hunter or something. I don't know.
Yeah, he wants to be able to tell his friends that he boned a sister of Grannis.
Yeah.
What friends, though? That's the real thing.
Well, he
What
was
friends?
friends with that one guy in that first inn that you go to where you first meet.
Oh,
Oh,
yeah.
yeah.
And the bird. He can tell
Yeah.
the bird.
Oh, we could tell the bird. The bird, I told you, at a certain point, the bird kind of stops becoming a character.
This is a big point of contention because Matt has believed for weeks that you meant that Ryudo stopped becoming a character.
No, it's Sky, the bird. After, like, I feel like after you get your party completely, like, stocked with people, he just kind of stops coming around and talking.
Well, you have human friends now. You don't have to talk to your imaginary bird friend.
That's true. So we leave this little weird island thing. We cross the Grana Cliffs in the 50-50, and we make it to the other side of the continent.
You know what's interesting is I think we totally glossed over that we did meet Ryudo's brother earlier.
Did we? Did we see Melphis?
Yeah, when did
Yeah,
we see
saw
Melphis?
Melphis in the castle.
Was it in Cyrum?
Yeah,
in Cyrum,
it's after
yeah.
we get the claws. He's the one who kills Ken's father so he can be king.
Oh, oh, he does kill the dad. The dad's not alive, Matt.
He does
you liar.
not kill the dad.
He kills
Are you
the
sure?
dad.
Ronan and Ryudo go to confront the king, but upon entering his chamber, they encounter Melphis, who reveals
right.
that he coerced the king into opening the gate and unleashing the claws.
Melphis
Oh yeah,
is
we
cool
have that
looking.
fight with him where you can't damage him. Cheating ass fucking
yeah.
game. Fuck you in this fight. I tried. Like
got
I was like,
plot
I know
armor,
that I
yeah.
can't beat this guy when I could only do one damage. But Milennia went ham, where you can't control her anymore and she just does what she wants. And she started using that eye move on him, and you know what? The eye move was damaging him. And I was like, what if I beat him even though I'm not supposed to?
That would be cool.
Secret ending unlocked.
Yeah.
Melphis is, I guess we should talk about what he looks like because he's definitely
Yeah.
the hottie of the game.
He looked like a unicorn.
He does look like a unicorn.
Yeah, he's so virile that he wears a giant horn on his head. I'll drop him in the group chat.
What
here
kind of
in a
horn would you
second.
say it
Very
is?
phallic.
Like a
It's
horn
like
of
long and erect.
Grannis? Or a horn of Ryudo?
I would call it like an elephant tusk kind of thing.
It's the horn of Valmar.
Horn of
It's
being
got
an
the-
elephant tusk.
It's got the horn of Valmar.
Um,
Whoa. I actually do like the character designs in this game quite a bit.
yeah.
And
I think they look pretty
he
good.
looks
a big
fucking
long
dope.
horn. He has one of his eyes covered by like a sort of Phantom of the Opera half mask.
Yeah, he does have a Phantom of the Opera thing going on.
He has
The Phantom of your brother is killing this village.
before your eyes. He's
He's got cool blue hair with like an updo blonde ponytail. He's got a huge fucking unicorn horn. He's got a
got a
sweet
cape.
cape. Hell yeah. He's got a
Cool
dope
cape.
looking
He's got a
sword.
really cool sword.
Two
Got a
belts,
big
which
Yeah.
that means he's for real. Like he's serious.
He has two belts, and one of the belts is like half undone right at his crotch level, so it
Yeah.
hangs down between his thighs.
Honestly, he's kind of got that bikini armor where he's got like half of it, like his upper torso is covered, but that trunk is hanging out, as is that down.
Except he has like black leather wrapped around him in strips.
Yeah, you're right. He did. I mean, in fact, if you really look at it, it looks like he's covered in belts. I think.
Yeah.
It
I
does,
think he
yeah.
is covered head to toe.
He's covered
in
head to
belts.
toe in belts, and then he got dressed over the belts.
He got dressed over the belts and put more belts on, which is. And you're right. It's very clear that one of those belts is holding his pants up. It's cinched tight. It's above his waist, above his hips. And then the second belt is just lazily slung over loosely over the hips, doing nothing, just being a belt, just being a fashion accessory. When are we going to bring the two-belt look into modern fashion? That's what I want to know. How come this has not become a thing?
Matt,
JRPGs have been pushing this for years.
Be the change that you want to see in the world.
That's what I was going to say.
I'm in my
Nothing's
40s.
stopping you, man.
I'm in my 40s.
Yeah, you know who else was in his 40s? Karl Lagerfeld.
Don't know who that is. Maybe I should make my kids dress like this.
Ooh, you should. They would love that.
You know what you need, son? Two belts.
You know what's going to help you pop that wheelie is a second belt.
He's going to pop that wheelie one day.
He is. So we get to Garland Village, and everybody fucking hates
Everybody
Ryudo.
fucking hates Ryudo. Also, the boat guy just drops us off, and he's like, well, I'll just wait. No problem.
Yep.
Meter's running, but,
It's
you know,
cool.
the king's paying for it, so what do I care?
I'm your friend. It's fine.
And yeah, everybody fucking hates Ryudo, which is like, this is, again, like, this stuff is like really, it's very telegraphed. It's very obvious that, like, you know, it was obvious that Rowan was going to be the prince the minute he fucking started talking about his hometown. We didn't mention the fact that that medallion that we saved in the first chunker of the game was super important. Though it didn't turn out to be very important, so I guess it doesn't matter.
Don't you use it?
No, because they blow the door open.
Oh, that's right.
I mean, it's the key to the door, but they don't need it because they're like we've got some secret plan, and then when you go, it just looks like they put dynamite against the door and fucking blew it open.
Yeah.
Anyway, it's very obvious that Ryudo has like a tragic backstory in his village, and the minute we get there, everybody's like, Ryudo, that piece of shit!
Yeah, get the fuck out of here.
They hate his guts. And
Some people
Elena's
are
trying to defend him, and I kind of don't know why.
Yeah.
Vanessa, you're a woman. Explain this motivation to us, please.
Oh, well, when you are a lady who likes a guy, you become his ride or die. And no matter what he does or what anyone says about him, you defend him to the death. But when you get together with your girlfriends, you talk shit about him all day long. And you're like, oh, I can't stand him. He's a lazy bum. He doesn't do anything. He's awful. Yeah. But it's like, you know, how you can make fun of your children, but other people can't make fun of your children.
Yeah, that's true.
You know, it's like that. So,
but I'm not going to do it on the show. I see what you're trying to make me do, and I will not do it.
Come on. just do a little
You
impression
want
of
to.
Connor. Oh, Dad, can I have some Roblox?
Connor fucking had... Haley had a cold a week ago, and Connor got the cold. Connor, number one, was like, my friend that I hung out with this weekend has strep throat. Even though he never had a fucking fever. He milked it for 2 days of skipping school, which I was annoyed about. They already don't have to go to school tomorrow. So he already had a day off this week. He milked it for 2 days and then tried to milk it for the rest of the week. But Wednesday morning, I was like, you are going to school. You don't have it. He's like, my throat hurts and my tummy hurts. And I was like, cool, you don't have a fever. Beat it. And then this morning, I woke up to a text from his mother that was like, Connor got sick last night and he's not feeling very well. And I was like, he missed school Monday and Tuesday. And she was like, that motherfucker's going to school. I know he is. Fucking.
That's funny.
Trying to take the whole week off.
It's Easter. Maybe he just wanted to, like, you know, set a little trap
He
for
wants
the
to
bunny rabbit. And
He wants to celebrate the resurrection.
yeah, he wants to pray and think upon his sins.
He spent the week watching the entirety of Invincible
He's not allowed to watch Invincible. That's way
while
too violent.
laying in bed.
He's going to get nightmares. Oh, Connor.
He's 13. He's 14 in 2 months. He can watch Invincible.
He's like 6.
All right, so
I wish my
everybody
life was a
hates
lot easier
Ryudo.
when they were 6, you know?
I remember when they were 6, and your life wasn't that easy.
Yeah, that's true, but
Wait, isn't it crazy that we've known each other that long?
it was a lot easier. And they were cute at least, you know? Jeez. Yeah, everybody fucking hates Ryudo. And What? Who do we meet? We meet a lot of people here, and
You
they
meet
all
a-
think you're a
you-
piece
you
of
meet a-
shit. You go to the inn, and they're
Well-
like, "Fuck you! I guess you could stay."
Yeah, you meet a
You
guy
go to the shop, and
named-
they're like, "Fuck! I hate your guts. Buy something, I guess, but then leave."
Yeah, it's so funny how mean everybody is to Ryudo. They're like, take your like the general store guy, especially after you buy stuff. He's like, now take your stuff and get out of my shop.
We learned that Ryudo and his brother, what's his face, Melphis, were orphans and were raised by the village elder. And then we meet the village elder, and he also tells us to get the fuck out of town.
He's sort of nicer about it. He's like, I'm sorry, Ryudo.
Yeah.
Not enough time has passed. We still think you're a piece of shit.
Hey,
And-
do you raise your hands if at this point you assumed that this tragic backstory was going to make sense? Did you think it was
Does it
going to make
not?
sense? It does not make fucking sense, Jim.
well, let's just
all.
let's just talk about it. So what we learned is that this is a village of swordsmen. In fact, one of the swordsmen who lives there challenges Ryudo to a fight and loses. His name is Gata. But what you
Ryudo's
learn is
former
this-
best friend.
Yeah. This is a village of swordsmen, and they are raised as swordsmen in order to defend the idol that is outside of their village in the mountain. One night, the idol starts to do some rumbling, and your best friend and like Melphis's girlfriend Rena is sent to go check it out. She doesn't come back, so they send Melphis, who's the best swordsman in the village.
Yeah, he's
They're
the
like,
chosen
"Go-"
boy.
Yeah, he's the main guy.
And Ryudo
so
and
they're
his best friend Bacala are they like look up to Melphis, like, oh, he's the best.
Yeah.
Strength.
Yeah,
we get
and
so many
so-
cutscenes of these two being
Yeah.
like, strength is all that matters.
Yeah,
I'll get
yeah,
strong.
it's real. This is like real anime shit.
Yeah, oh, boy, real anime shit.
Yeah. And so Melphis goes to find Rena, and Ryudo follows him, and Ryudo stumbles onto the scene just in time to see Melphis murder Rena.
And everyone
they're
else
standing-
around there, too, it seems like.
Yep.
Oh, yeah, there's a few other people there.
Well, yeah, we see a lot of bodies on the ground, and we see on like a pillar or like an arch, like a natural arch of rock. Ryudo standing, well, not Ryudo, Melphis standing with his sword plunged through Rena's tum-tum. Rena is Melphis's fiance, and Ryudo loves her like a sister and is very thrilled. She is the village elder's actual daughter.
Yeah, the village elder raised Ryudo and Melphis too because they were little garbage orphans.
Yes, so they were
Yep.
raised
What
as
a
her
surprise.
brother, and then one of them fell in love with her.
Yep, classic
Fell
romantic,
in love with their sister.
Yeah.
classic romance storytelling. Fell in love with your sister, and then stabbed her through the tummy.
Yeah, and we learned that the reason that the village hates Ryudo is that he did not kill his brother when he came across him doing this.
Well, it's not that. It's that afterwards, Bacala and
No,
Bacala.
Gata.
What is it?
Gata.
Baklava.
Oh,
No, Bacala's the 50-50 captain. Gata
Oh.
is the other swordsman.
okay.
Gata.
Oh, you're right. I'm too high up in the notes. Gata, his best friend, wants to go hunt down Melphis, and Ryudo refuses. Ryudo just fucking leaves town. And that is why they hate Ryudo. I can appreciate that to like some tiny degree for why like Gata would be upset with Ryudo, but how is any of this Ryudo's fault that the village is like, fuck you, dude?
Yeah.
Like, what? This doesn't make any fucking sense.
Well,
it's-
if it isn't Ryudo who didn't kill his brother, back to not kill your brother
Yeah.
some more?
yeah,
it
if
was-
it's
it was
Ryudo who
kinda
didn't
that.
kill the best swordsman in the village that everybody agreed would have killed you and your stupid fucking friend.
But later, Gata does say, he's like, we've been... so the story is that after Ryudo left, everyone in the village kind of lived in fear that Melphis was going to return and kill them all, and they have been ever since it happened.
And what does that have to do with fucking Ryudo? Nothing.
But Gata later says he's like, I think what they expected was Ryudo to like kill Melphis, and then when he didn't, they like didn't know how to process it. They kind of like, and I think Gata even says this. He's like, we gave up accountability for our own lives.
No, I understand the excuses. I understand the mental gymnastics that this game goes through to try and make this make sense, but it doesn't make any fucking sense. All right, I get they hate Melphis. He killed the village elder's daughter, his fiance, and then vanished, and a bunch of villagers. What's that got to do with Ryudo? It sucked. Oh, well, you're his brother. But, like, he didn't kill anybody. And then he left town, which you would think they would be like, well, you know, we don't want to have to deal with him, too. Like, fuck him. But this, like, the animosity that these people have towards Ryudo is absolutely absurd. It's absurd.
Well, look, it's time to put things right and go kill our brother. So,
yeah, and that's what we show up and say. All right, Ryudo shows up and he's like, I'm here to find Melphis. I'm going to finally confront him. And they're like, fuck you. Fuck you, dude.
Okay, I have a question. Like, I was reading a theory, I think it was on Reddit, that Melphis...
Don't mention that website on this show.
That Melphis killed Rena because she was possessed by Valmar, and then when he killed her, he became possessed by Valmar.
Oh, did you read that theory on Reddit, or is that the canon of what happens in the fucking game, Jim?
That's not the canon.
That is exactly what they say happens.
Well, we'll get to it when we're done with this fight.
I didn't know that, actually.
All right, well, now that you've spoiled it, that's exactly what
happened.
happened.
Maybe I just saw
because
it written on the internet somewhere.
The artifact or whatever that the village was protecting was actually a seal of the horn of Valmar, and it broke. Rena went there first and got infested or whatever with the horn of Valmar, and then Melphis killed her. But unfortunately, when he killed her, he got infected with the horn of Valmar himself, which that's going to play into something that's about to happen. But also, it's worth pointing out that
you guys didn't read that Reddit
they
thread?
fucking say it in the game.
They say it and they show it. There's a
They
whole
do show
it.
flashback.
I think I maybe just wasn't paying attention.
They also, it's, you know, the villagers don't know this, but it was not Melphis that killed all the villagers. It was Rena.
Yeah.
It was
Melphis
Rena,
and the villagers go to find Rena, and she kills all the villagers, and then Melphis kills Rena. And that's right when Ryudo shows up.
Now that I know that that's canon, I'm kind of
Reddit on Reddit. Get out of here.
I'm kind of impressed that Ryudo doesn't throw Rena under the bus. Because he kind of could. Like, he could have just been like, hey, don't be mad at me, be mad at Rena. She's actually the one that sucks.
Or best
and
friend.
what's he gonna...
His brother's fiance.
What's he gonna, like... Why insert that now? Like, you know that some of those villagers are going to put on their tinfoil hats and be like,
actually, the world government wants us to believe that Rena was infected by the Horde of Valmar.
We have skipped far ahead. Can we please go back to before
hold on,
we
one
learn
sec.
Wow, this is new for you, Vanessa. How do you feel? This is a brand new thing. Go back and do more, is what you're saying.
Rena, so because they never mention her again after this, Rena exists in the story only to murder and then be murdered.
Yes.
She's not even a character.
Melphis' girlfriend gets fridged. What a surprise.
Yeah, she gets fridged. Exactly.
So we climb Grail Mountain. Before we learn all of this, so listeners, put all of that out of your mind. We don't know any of that. We just climb up Grail Mountain, which takes forever. It's like a 3-screen dungeon or something.
Yeah, it's a big dungeon. One thing that I like, though, is when the game does like decide to give you a 3-room dungeon, and I don't think they get any bigger than 3. But they always like it. Usually at the beginning or the end of the second screen, there's a save point and a refresh point.
There's always a save and refresh point before the boss, which I really appreciate.
Yeah, but like
I also abuse the shit out of those things. Like I'll go wipe out half the enemies in the area, and it takes all of 30 seconds to run back because the enemies don't respawn. So you just run back and give yourself a refresh, and then
I do the same
I
thing.
fucking love it. It's hilarious.
Yeah, I never really had to use any items until later in the game because I could always just run back to a save point and recover all my stats and then
also, as you go up the mountain, it is covered in evil goop. Again?
Oh, man.
What's with the evil goop?
Cool. I love the evil goop.
Why?
It's just Malphus's thing. Like, he goops it up, and the cat says, yeah, he gooped up my town after he killed everyone.
Yeah.
You think he's using those power nuts?
He is.
Power nut and Valmar goop everywhere he goes.
We tromp up to the top. We find the Seal of Granis, which is where we start to learn about Valmar and everything. Then we go outside. Malphus is out there. He's like, you can't catch me. And he starts running away. Then we have to run after him. And then we finally get to fight Malphus.
This was another instance where, so like on my first playthrough, I was underleveled for the Closet Valmar, got beat a couple times, and then I had to level up, and then I tried to skip more enemies on Grail Mountain.
Stupid.
And got to Ryudo, and
he's hard.
He beat me 4 times in a row. That's where I kind of stopped playing for a while.
This, to me, is the first real boss battle of the game. This is the first time anybody did so much as knock out a character.
Yeah.
Yeah, I had to do it twice. The first time he cast like silence basically on all my characters, and
yeah, he does a lot of magic and move blocking, which is really fucking annoying because you have to waste a character turn on undoing the block, which is really dumb.
I beat him on my first try because I'm a man, obviously.
Wow.
And
so good at video
I did
games.
want to say, I want to roll this back a little bit. And again, I'm sorry, listeners, that we keep doing this. But we mentioned that we learn Ryudo's backstory. We didn't mention like how we learn it. And I thought this was fun, which is before we head up Grail Mountain, Elena is, I don't know, jilling in her room or something, thinking about Ryudo.
Jilling. Straight's night.
Straight up jilling it in her room, when a voice, a very recognizable voice that she can't seem to recognize, speaks to her through the window and is like, "Don't look at me, and I'll tell you Ryudo's story. I'm a gay bird."
That was super dumb.
I'm a very gay bird. Don't look at me. And also put some clothes on and put that vibrator away.
Sky does kind of serve as like the, those
exposition
movies
dumper.
Where but it's like the British exposition narrator in a movie. He does
like
kind
an
of serve
AI,
that purpose.
like in fucking Haley Joel Osment's Steven Spielberg's AI. Is it Steven Spielberg?
Yes, exactly.
No, who did that?
Yeah.
That was
Spielberg.
he finished it. It's Kubrick, isn't it? Kubrick?
Oh, Kubrick wanted to do the movie.
No, I thought Kubrick
did
do the movie, and then Spielberg came in and finished it because he died.
Maybe Kubrick wrote it. I don't think Kubrick directed.
I'm saying his name weird.
But I could be wrong. Kubrick.
Anyway, it's like the weird British narration that just starts up at the end of AI, where you're like, "What's happening? Who's speaking?"
Yeah, it's like
the Winnie the Pooh narrator is here to tell me what happened at the end of AI.
Exactly that. Yeah, that's kind of what Sky does in the whole game, though. Like especially at the beginning, those like kind of farce comedies where the protagonist interacts with the narrator when the narrator insults him. That's kind of what Ryudo does with Sky.
It was Sky that speaking through the window anonymously somehow tells Elena the whole story of Ryudo's backstory, and I thought it was pretty funny. Anyway, we go up the mountain and fight Ryudo, and it's a bitch. Like legit, it's tough. Even I thought it was tough. Even though I killed him in one try. He does have some very powerful moves, and he does silence your people. He's got something, what was it called? Listeners, I don't know that we've talked about this much. It's weird with Malphus. With the other bosses, they have multiple pieces. So you'll have the right claw, the left claw, the mouth, the eye. And we've talked about how you can just attack the part of Valmar to kill it. But with Malphus, he's just a dude, right? But it's Malphus's sword, and Melphus's regenerator.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And the regenerator
I love
buffs the shit out of Melphus to the point that about halfway through the fight, I was like, I spent a turn debuffing him to get him back down to baseline because his attack was like times 6.
I debuffed
it
him
was
a lot.
crazy.
Yeah.
And his
This
speed was crazy.
He has a lot of the bosses have like these fun animations for these different like pieces of them. The regenerator has my favorite because the regenerator is like a shoulder thing, shoulder armor. But like when it casts a spell, it opens up like a mouth.
Yeah.
It looks like a lizard mouth, and it's got like a tongue in it that sticks out. It looks so cool.
It looks weird on the little IP bar too. It's got its own little portrait.
Yeah, it's such a fun. They like a lot of the like smaller details in this game when it has to animate something like really small. It still looks really good. Like there's a lot of detail in those little animations. I like it a lot. But yeah, he can whoop your ass. He does Quake. One of the spells that he does is Quake, which is the most powerful Earth spell, which is fucked up. Because you're like not ready for that at this point in the game. He does that Demon Horde Slash one too, which like
that'll one shot per somebody.
Ryudo picks that up after this. That's his Sky Dragon Slash. But that's what like would party wipe me when I was under leveled was he would do that and it would just be over.
Nevertheless, we defeat him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He does fall down. Ryudo goes over to him and he's like, "What's up, bro?" And he's like, "Bro, sorry for all the things I did, bro." And he's like, "I forgive you, bro. I love you, bro."
He does seem to no longer be under the sway of the Horn of Valmar. Mm-hmm. And Ryudo is like, "Wait, don't die then. Like, if you're free of this, please. Like, I don't blame you for what happened. Those villagers weren't even people. Like, the cops came."
They weren't even supposed to be around in the area.
And Melphus is like, "I have one parting gift for you, though, Kazap," and he zaps his horn right into Ryudo.
Does he? I didn't.
He does. Ryudo gets possessed by the horns of Valmar.
Ryudo does get possessed by the horn, but I didn't think Melphus intentionally did that.
No, he didn't do it intentionally, but it just happens.
Yeah, it just like jumps.
It
like,
jumps
from
and
host to host.
his parting gift is telling us where the Grandia Saber is.
All right.
What does he say? What is? can't remember where he said it was.
It's at
like to the
like
west or the east or something.
Yeah, at the very end of the cliffs of Granis. You have to. That's where he says
that
to go.
That one place you haven't been yet.
Yeah, you have to go to the end of the cliffs of Granis. That's where he tells us to go.
That's right.
Which surprise is where Merrick is from.
Yeah.
But like at one point after this, they say, "I guess we're going to the end of the world," and I was like, "Is that what Melphus said?" I can't remember.
No, it's weird. It's dumb. But unfortunately,
Ryudo's in a little coma.
Yeah.
And this is where we do not have to go over all this again. In fact, I beg you not to. This is where we see the whole truth about what really happened.
Yeah. And we also see Ryudo's hot nips. Ryudo is shirtless here.
It's amazing.
So hot. He's so hot.
Yep. Elena's really upset about him dying.
Yeah.
But she has a plan, or actually Milennia takes over. She has a plan. Millennia's like, "Okay, I'm going to suck the horn out."
She is going to suck the horn out, and she's, as we know, that's going to remove his soul. And I was kind of thinking, like, because Jim kept talking about how this was like the craziest chunk of a video game he'd ever played, which was a lie.
No, I said the next one, it gets fucking weird.
Lie. Anyway, Jim said this was the craziest thing that had ever happened. So I was like, Ryudo's going to die, right? Like, Ryudo's going to die, and I guess Milennia will become the main character, or somebody new will show up. It'll be Gato or whatever his fucking name was. But instead,
Milennia leans over to suck his horn, but then she starts crying. She can't do it.
Yep, can't suck that horn.
So she's like, "Okay, Elena,
He's
I'm going to
unconscious.
need you to suck this horn out with me. Together we can do it so that he doesn't lose his soul."
Hot.
So they enter into his mind palace. Milennia is going to distract the horn so that Elena can grab the soul and yank it out.
That's not what happens, right?
That is what happens. That's her
He's
plan.
still infected with the horn. They just
he still has
contain
the
it.
horns. Yeah, they're like they essentially like because like
don't
what
take
it
his
seems
soul.
like is when you get possessed by the horns, like either the horns, so the horns like overpower your sense of self, and you become like possessed by the horns. What they did was they changed the Ryudo horn proportion in his soul to be mostly Ryudo
and a little bit
less
of horn.
horn.
Yeah,
only a little bit of horn.
And
He's got a little horn now.
Yeah, and because of that, he can stay with Elena, as opposed to Milennia, who's just all about the horn. So it all balances out.
She's like, Millennia's whole thing is like, he's the only person that ever treated me like a person.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, she goes to because we learned in the last chunker that when Milennia sucks a piece of Valmar out of somebody, it also like eats their soul.
Mm-hmm. But Millennia's
And
like
so-
a week old, so
We learned that
like the
2 weeks ago with Flower
nice
Girl.
to you.
That was last week,
I
wasn't it?
wish
Was 2
that
weeks ago?
she would suck the soul out of me, if you know what I mean.
Oh.
Yeah,
Straight
cast.
cast.
Nips of Valmar. So that's that. Ryudo's better. They're all gonna go to the edge of the world, and we'll see what happens.
Yeah,
next
well,
time.
Ryudo wakes up, and they're like, "Oh, we thought we weren't sure you were gonna be awake," and he's like, "Elena, I heard your voice."
Mm-hmm.
That's what rouses him from his coma, his Valmar-induced coma.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, the elder is like, you know what? Everything's straight up cool now, Ryudo. We're all good, even Stevens. And so you go to leave. This is where you get Gada's big speech about them giving up accountability for their lives, and now they're going to be accountable for their own safety again, and blah 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 blah. Merrick is like, hey, I think I like understand where the Grandia Saber is now. Let's go to my village and hang out. And so you go see Bacala, and he's like, yep, I'll give you a ride. And then that's where we're going to go next. Next time on Square Roots. We did it, guys. We got through the big old chunka.
Holy
Where will
smokes.
we finish the next chunker?
Next time on Square Roots, we will play until we return to the Cyrum Kingdom.
Cool.
Whoa. I wonder if
And
Rowan
let me-
will rejoin the party. I hope not.
Let me tell you, it sounds like it's going to be a retread. There's so much fucking crazy shit that happens in the next chunker. It's going to be great.
We have to fight the body of Valmar.
Yeah, that's the first thing that happens. After that, it goes fucking off the rails.
We're going to go to Merrick's hometown. He's going to talk
We're
about
gonna go to Merrick's
smells
hometown.
a lot.
Hey,
Yeah,
Matt,
there's a lot of smell talk.
what do you roundly for squarely against in this chunker? He's thinking.
Guess I am roundly for the twist with Melphis. I thought that was pretty interesting, but with the whole Rena getting infected and him having to kill her, like that was cool. That was a fun twist that I did not see coming. However, I'm also going to say that I'm squarely against this stupid Ryudo plotline here where everybody hates him. It doesn't make sense. I said it. It doesn't make fucking sense at all. And it's dumb. And I didn't like it. What about you, Vanessa?
I am squarely against the little Aryan Nazi king and his Nazi kingdom.
I love his stupid little Nazi bob.
Yeah, he has a little Nazi bob. He reveals
I hope he
his
doesn't
Nazi
rejoin the
flag.
party. I hate his
He
guts.
hoists it happily up at the pole.
So weird.
It's very odd. He's like, yeah, we fought with the bad guy, but I think it's time to be proud of our past.
Heritage, not hate.
Yeah, I'm like, I don't know, dude. I'm not sure.
It is. Like, we joked about it being a fucking Nazi flag, but really it's a fucking... It's the
It is a
goddamn
Confederacy thing.
Confederacy thing.
Yeah, he's flying the stars and bars over Cyrum Kingdom now.
Jim, what are you squarely against?
I'm roundly for Melphis' armor. His design is so cool. Love his horn. I love his lizard mouth shoulder pauldron. I love his sword. He's just a cool looking dude.
It's pretty cool.
Yeah. It's been a while since we played such a what's the word I'm looking for? Like real meaty JRPG,
Yeah, like
you
a
know?
capital
I would
J.
not define this as a meaty JRPG.
No, I wouldn't say. What I mean is it's almost stereotypical.
It's very classic. It
Yeah.
does, like a lot of the best RPGs of this era, including like the PS2 era. It does interesting things with like the combat and stuff. But I will say against a lot of those games, this actually has like really good character design and stuff. I don't hate looking at this game. I'm not looking at the main character and being like, look at this fucking idiot. As much as I love Final Fantasy X, like every time I play that game, I'm like, Tidus, you look like a fucking clown. And so many JRPGs of this era really it looked the same. Like they just look fucking stupid. Or they're just stupid ass little kids, which that's just a nothing. Remember Lunar? Ugh.
Yeah.
One thing I want to say real quick, actually, I don't know, it's kind of too late to bring it up, but I'm going to bring it up anyway. What we did learn here that we forgot, that we kind of brushed over, is the Kingdom of Cyrum had this door of darkness locked, and all that was back there was a factory, right? And we talked about that. But so I guess the real truth there was that the people of Cyrum were like making killer robots for Valmar?
They were. Yeah, you learn more about that in the next chunker, but they were it seems like they were kind of like an arms manufacturing facility.
That's weird.
Kinda.
That's a weird.
Yeah.
And then Roan has this whole fucking thing where he's just like, that's it. Like he thought it was going to be like a fucking demon gate, and instead it was just a fucking, it was just a goddamn factory for making evil robots. Weird stuff.
Yeah, so next time we're going to play to the Return of the Cyrum Kingdom. It's going to be great. You guys are going to have a great time. But before we sign off and talk about our patrons, I would like to ask you, Vanessa, how you leveled up.
Well, thanks for asking, Jim. Maybe you want to hop on board this level up with me, so I'll save our code level for the end.
Okay.
And talk about 2 things that I did all on my own, some and no one else did. I started playing Blueprints. This is everyone's most darling game of the moment. It's on Game Pass. It is a puzzle game. It's a early favorite for Game of the Year, it seems like. Everyone's talking about it. Everyone loves it. Yes, Jim, you have your hand up.
Yep, I have a question.
Yeah.
Maybe this is more of an observation, but maybe it's not relevant. But also, so the name of the game is Blue, like the color blue, and then Prince,
yes.
like Rowan. When you said the title, it sounded like you said blueprints.
Yeah,
like blueprints
that's
for a building. Is that? Yeah, I wonder is that a play on words for the title?
Let me tell you, the game is about using blueprints to recreate a home. So, yes, it is.
Wow.
This is a puzzle game where every day, it goes in day cycles. You have to rebuild this house by going through it and laying down different rooms. And as you lay down more and more rooms, you get clues that might help you complete the whole house in the future, but you can't do it in one day.
Aren't you supposed to... I read something that you were supposed to get to the 46th room?
Yeah, that's the sort of idea. But it's difficult because you have limited energy to do it, and then also there's sort of a random nature to which rooms you can place down. You get a choice of 3 at each door.
It's the way I read an article about it today, and it was kind of described as like a roguelike in a way, where like you like accrue items for different runs. Mm-hmm. Like when I watched a video review of it, and the guy was like, he's like, I've put 100 hours in this game, and I could put in 100 more. So it's not like one that has like a clear stop to it. It's one that you can kind of keep going.
Yeah, it's pretty interesting. In some of the rooms there are puzzles. There's like a little logic puzzle of like 2 things are true and 1 thing's a lie. You have to figure out which statements are true and which is a lie. There's sort of a math puzzle with a dartboard. So they're good little puzzles. It does recommend that when you play it, you keep a journal, like handwrite notes. sort of arrogantly started it. I'm like, I'm not going to do that. And then sort of immediately started doing it because there's just a lot of detail.
The reviewer that I watched held up like a big bunch of papers and he's like, I've been drawing graphs because of this game. He's like, I have 3 pages of graphs.
Mm-hmm.
It's interesting. So you're saying that the game is basically like building the world out as you play.
Yes.
Sounds like
Chain of Memories.
Sounds like Mana, the Mana game we played.
Yeah.
Oh, it
Legend
does
of
sound
Mana.
a bit like that one. What was that? Legend of Mana.
Yeah, Legend of Mana.
But it also
Right?
sounds a lot to me like Chain of Memories, where you create the
It
next
is very
room
similar
before
to
you
that,
go
yeah.
into it. So you could say that this is a Chain of Memories ripoff. Is that right?
I would call it more a ripoff of, there's a tabletop game called like Housey Haunted Murder House Mystery or something where you...
That doesn't sound like the real name of a game.
It's a Lovecraft kind of game where you like build out
Hey.
a house room by room with other players. That's what reminded me most of. I do not remember what the game is actually called. So I'm enjoying it so
It's
far.
called Housey House.
Housey House.
Or whatever you said.
Filthy House.
Yeah.
Haunted Mystery House game. So I'm enjoying that, and I'm sure I will continue to do so. I watched a show on Netflix called The Residents. This is a Shonda Rhimes show, and it's pretty short. It is a murder mystery, but is set inside the White House staff residence. So it's
interesting.
about a murder in the White House, and it stars Uzo Aduba, who plays...
She's so great.
She's
I love her.
amazing.
Oh, I started watching the show. She has like almost like a Sherlock. She has a brown suit.
Yeah,
and, like, her
yeah.
hair's- Yes, I watched the first episode of that and I liked it a
It's
lot.
really
I haven't
good.
picked it back up though.
Yeah, it's really fun. It has Giancarlo Esposito as well, and Square Root's favorite actor, Bronson Pinchot from The Langoliers.
Oh, Bronson Pinchot is great. I love that Uzo Aduba. Like when I saw her as the lead in that, like she's so good. Like she can act circles around most other people.
She is, yeah.
She's so great.
I really only knew her as Crazy Eyes from Orange is the New Black, which is a
That's
totally
where I
different
remember
character.
her from too. Yeah.
Mhm.
But like she was a scene stealer in that show
She
too.
was,
like,
yeah, and she's great in this. It definitely is like your sort of classic Sherlock Holmes, Benoit Blanc kind of detective, and in fact, all the episodes are named
Yeah.
after classic detective stories. And I thought it was
Yeah.
really clever to put it in the White House because there really aren't a lot of contemporary places that have that feel of old manor homes with just tons
Yeah,
of
yeah.
staff and things like that.
I love the kind of flavor of it is like she's kind of like doing these deductions and then when everyone else like knows what's going on, she comes in over them and then like tells the truth and then everyone goes harumph.
Yeah.
She's like I love that whole like Agatha or I guess it's more of like a Benoit Blanc
Yeah.
dynamic,
Like a
but like
Poirot
it's-
kind of thing.
Yeah, it is very Agatha Christie like it's super fun.
Yeah, it's sort of in flavor. It's a lot like Only Murders in the Building. It's a comedy, so if you liked that, I think you'll probably like this. I watched a documentary that I know you watched as well, Jim, called Bad Influencer,
Oh man.
also on Netflix. I don't know if I can really recommend it. Like, it's not fun or funny.
It feels like it gives you an interesting view into like the world of child YouTube stars, but also like the production of it feels almost like stage mom propaganda.
Yeah,
in a way.
it was very.
Uh,
I mean, I walked away from
it
it
definitely-
feeling like kids should not be on YouTube. I'll say that.
Yeah, 100%. But also, it doesn't feel like an objective look at this specific thing that it's talking
Yeah.
about. It's definitely from the jump taking a side, which like feels warranted based on what you see in the
Yeah.
show. But at the same time, it's not a piece of journalism.
No.
Like it's pretty tabloidy.
Yeah, or it's more like even almost like a cult show, like about Scientology or something, from the perspective
Yeah.
of people who've left Scientology.
Yeah, it definitely has an axe to grind.
Yeah.
For sure.
And I finished up South of Midnight, and that is how I'll transition to Jim.
Yeah, I played South of Midnight 2. This is a game I've been looking forward to for a minute. Once I saw the gameplay videos, and man, what a fun game this is. It is like almost like a Deep South magical realism kind of setting. And you play as a young woman who is what they call a weaver, so someone who is able to kind of see the threads that bind reality and fate in a way, and manipulate it, and also like help kind of free people from their emotional burdens. And in this world, these characters' emotional burdens affect the world around them.
Yeah, it's like generational trauma.
Yeah,
manipulates and perverts the world around it. It's based on a lot of actual Deep South lore, which I'm not familiar with.
Oh, interesting. Yeah, me either.
But I think almost every sort of, I want to call them like cryptid kind of thing, like Two-Toe Tom is a real urban legend cryptid
I had heard of Two-Toe Tom. That was the one where I was like, okay, I'm familiar with that, but Hug and Molly was not familiar to me. The tree guy, not familiar to me.
I know that like the Honey Swamp Island thing was like a real thing. So I read because I'm not familiar with that part of the world or culture, I did read a review by someone who is, and also someone who's a black person, who talked about how it really spoke to them as a black person, like about
interesting.
Like they talked about a painting that's in the house that is a parody of like a painting that was in every house they saw when they were growing up and things like that.
Oh, that's interesting.
Yeah, because I didn't have a frame of reference. I'm like, how authentic is this actually? And it seemed like, from at least this one review I read, that they really nailed it. So
yeah, my brother lives in Texarkana, which, well, not in Texarkana, outside of Texarkana, in like a very rural area. And Texarkana is right at the border of Texas and Louisiana. These accents sounds like the accent, like this is the authentic version of what my older brother is trying to rip off all the time. Like everything about it felt, just like the whole setting felt very lived in. Like these characters' relationships to one another felt like really authentic. It was just it was a really fun setting.
Yeah, and I liked the protagonist. She's not like a perfect hero. She makes a lot of mistakes, and I thought that was interesting.
Yeah, she's also not she's not overwritten too. Like I feel like a lot of protagonists, they don't go into like, she doesn't have a tragic past really. Like a lot of she doesn't have to go through a lot of trauma to be like her character.
Yeah.
You know?
And I liked the soundtrack, which everyone is raving about, and rightly so.
This is great.
It really slaps, and it has, I think I talked about this on the show last week a little bit, it has songs that are narratively relevant to what's going on in the game. And the first one of those really took me by surprise. I'm like...
It feels like a musical in a way.
It does, yeah.
But it does, it kind of, and you haven't gotten there in your Alan Wake 2 playthrough, Vanessa, but it feels like the way they set up the Herald of Darkness level in Alan Wake 2, where like the song is set up to present itself in a way that matches what you're doing in the game. But even if you decide to like detour a little bit, and the melody of the song is still going, so it feels like it doesn't break. And then when the vocals finally do kick back in, it's kind of like contextually relevant to what you're doing in the game itself. And like that is such a great gameplay presentation. Like it just like it hits so good every time.
No, it's really good. And apart from like the songs themselves, it's like you get little snippets of lyrics and things where you're just running around the overworld map, like or not overworld, but you know, in other parts of it, like on the Two-Toe Tom level, there's like this little like children's choir that occasionally will just go in, Two-Toe Tom.
Yes. So good. And I love I love the sound effects in the game. There's such great little, like, whenever you use one of her powers, like even if it's a double jump, there's like a light like really high chorus in the background, like that plays in the background, and I love the combat. It was a little samey. It didn't really like change very much throughout the game, but the way that they do it and the way that you upgrade your powers, it was super fun. Like I never got into a combat scenario where I was like, ugh, it feels like I'm doing too much. It was consistently fun.
Yeah, and I think it has a pretty forgiving difficulty slider too. So even if you are not a combat person, if it sounds at all interesting to you, I would recommend it.
I play almost every game on easy. I finished this one in like 3 or 4 days on normal. So it's very forgiving.
What is Karma: The Dark World?
So that's another game I played outside of South of Midnight. I did play another game that I found on Steam. This one I had seen. It had come up in my discovery queue, and it had really great reviews. It's a great looking game, but it's kind of like a horror walking simulator, but it takes place in like an alternate version of East Germany in the 80s, where it was kind of taken over and turned into like a corporate state. And the corporation kind of implemented a lot of the same stuff they do in 1984, where there's like thought crime and people turning each other in and stuff, but you play as like a thought agent whose job it is to basically like jump into people's minds and determine like how they committed their crime and what their crime actually was. And also like you're discovering a lot of stuff about yourself along the way. So there's like lots of really interesting little scenarios in it. My only gripe with it is like there's not a lot of fail states in the game, so it did feel like kind of not interactive in that. There's not a lot of challenge to it. But the game looked great, and it was a really interesting story, even if I don't know that it totally made sense in the end, but it was fun. And the production design of it was fantastic. It's one of the better looking games I've played on my PC. And also, it's built in such a way to where I can scale the graphics down enough to play it on my Steam Deck. Which is pretty cool. It's always great when I can find like a new game that I'm willing to pay like full price for, that I can play on my PC and also just like fire up on my Steam Deck if I want.
Yeah, it sounds interesting.
Yeah, it's a really cool game, and it's got like a really big scope to it. Like this game really goes for it, and mostly nails what it's trying to do. It's pretty cool. So I would say if you find it on sale on Steam, I would imagine it can run on even slightly older hardware. So yeah, give it a peek. I actually, now that I say that, I think it's actually on consoles too. I think it's out on PS5 as well. So yeah, check that out if you're into that kind of thing. I had a really good time with it. I also want to say I haven't gotten very far into it, but I did pick up a book in an airport this morning called Clown in a Cornfield.
Oh, no. Dude, that's the worst title I've ever heard for a book.
It is. It's a fucking terrible title. But I grabbed it. They had like a big banner up for it, and I'm aware that there was a movie being produced, and I'd heard the novel was pretty good. So I was like, well, I'm going to grab it. It was like $15.
I looked it up on Wikipedia. This is a YA horror novel.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
which
like
one of the
Goosebumps
like is this,
novel.
if you could clarify that?
I feel like it's slightly elevated above Goosebumps.
More like a Christopher Pike. Wow.
No, that is down. That's down. But it feels like kind of in between like a Goosebumps and like maybe like The Institute by Stephen King. Like it's kind of in between there, but yeah, it's pretty good so far. I'm only like maybe 50 pages in, but it's pretty good, and yeah, I'm excited to get more into that, and I'm excited to see the movie when it comes out in theaters next month.
Well,
yeah, Matt, how did you level up?
Sorry, I've been in a daze here for about 30 minutes.
Yeah, I
you
know.
should talk about
Not
Daredevil.
interested in what your friends are doing this week.
Well, I didn't play any of these games. I didn't watch any of these shows. I got nothing to add. I did watch a show, though, that you guys may have heard of, and it was called Daredevil.
Yeah.
Born Again. Daredevil Born Again ended last week. We should probably not drop major spoilers here, but we all
Yeah, no
watched it.
spoilies.
I'll just say up top, I fucking loved it. What a great season. One of the best parts about it was that there was very little of the character Karen, so that was nice.
Why don't you like Karen Page?
All she does is cry.
That's true.
Every scene she's in, she's crying. I like that actress. We discussed this.
Me too.
What's her name? Haley
No,
Joel
I
Osment?
don't
No.
remember.
Deborah
I put it in
Ann
the chat
Wall.
earlier. Deborah Ann Wool, yeah.
I think that she is
also-
a good actress, and I've seen some of her
She
D&D
is.
stuff on YouTube, and I think that that's pretty interesting.
She also plays Laufey in God of War Ragnarok.
Oh, really? I first was introduced to her in True Blood, a show that I despise. But
That show fucking sucks.
yeah, it did. Anyway, but so no shade on the actress herself, who is doing what she can with that part. I am sure the part is
Bad writing.
cry. Anyway. She was not in much of this season, which was nice because it meant less crying. It was a great season. Episode, I think 4 or 5, had a great bank robbery episode, kind of a self-contained episode that really kicked ass. We got to see a bit of the Punisher got to come back, and I think that John Bernthal
John Bernthal
is phenomenal in that role, and is probably my favorite version of that character. And I've been reading Marvel Comics since I was a wee boy, a wee lad, but the Punisher sucks, and they've made him interesting in this show. And then the finale was fucking awesome, I thought. It was very menacing and scary, and it does not end in a good place. I'm just going to say that. I know I said no spoilers, but I did it anyway. For our characters, but that's okay. It was originally set to be one 18-episode season, and it looks like they decided to split it in half. But it really worked for me on all levels. I think that what's his face that plays Daredevil? I know his name, but it's late.
Charlie Cox.
Charlie Cox really nails it as Daredevil. I liked the new characters they introduced. His new law partner was cool. His girlfriend was a good character. They brought back Bullseye as a kind of a major part, and from last season.
I love that character too, by the way.
I say last season,
very cool character.
but really the final season of the Daredevil show on Netflix is what I should say. And he was good and interesting, and I hope to see more of that. And Vincent D'Onofrio continues to just kill it as Wilson Fisk.
He's
he
really
nails
a co-lead.
every scene that he's in.
I feel
yeah,
like
He
it's
is,
a two-hander kind of show.
In a way,
Yeah.
that's kind of my biggest problem with the show, actually, is that what really, for me, drags is the stuff that is Kingpin and, him, running his business and, the conceit of this new season is that the Kingpin has been elected mayor of New York.
But when the season ends and you see him actually being evil, it feels like such a betrayal because oh man, it's so good.
He's trying
It's
to
a
get
great
on the
he
straight and narrow. I like that character.
I don't think
like
he
it
ever
when
was,
He says
I
things
think.
like, "Don't hurt Vanessa," or "If you touch Vanessa, I'll kill you," or
Yeah.
"Are you looking at Vanessa?"
Yeah.
Vanessa!
He's great. Don't get me wrong, but it's the in between stuff that focuses on his day to day is the stuff that really drags for me the most. I wish that they would cut more of that and put in more Charlie Cox in a costume beating up criminals, which I get that people like the Fisk stuff. Don't get me wrong. That's just what I would prefer. And I also get that you're not bringing in Vincent D'Onofrio to just kind of monologue at the camera a few times a season. He's not there if it's not a two-lead.
Also, I think
two-hander.
Michael Gandolfini, who plays his assistant in the show, James Gandolfini's son, he's so great.
Shit, is that who that is?
Yeah,
Wow.
that's James Gandolfini's son, and he is. You can kind of track his character throughout the season, just becoming more and more corrupt.
Yep.
And it's so good. So well done. Also, I will say, sorry, Matt.
No,
but
I'm
also,
done. Go ahead and you guys talk about it.
The
'Cause we both
last
watched it too.
the last 2 episodes, which are hands down the best episodes of the entire season, I think, were directed by Justin Benson and Aaron Moorhead, who are the writers and directors of what I think and a lot of people think are some of the best horror films of the last decade.
Oh, interesting.
And they were also the showrunners. Maybe not. I think they were the showrunners of Moon Knight, the Oscar Isaac one. But their horror films are super. They're low budget, but they're super heady and Lovecraftian in a really interesting way, where like reality is doing interesting things, and they usually act in their movies, which like they're not great actors, but in kind of a charming way. But they are like they're auteurs in a true sense of the word, and just seeing them get to do like their flavor of thing.
Yeah, I can see the horror
Disney
vibe
production.
in those episodes.
Yeah, because there's some gory shit in those last 2 episodes. There was one point where I was like, "That's fucked
This
up."
ain't your mama's
I've never
Marvel.
seen a Disney
this
thing.
Is the Daredevil
No.
he uses the full-on F word.
Yeah, a lot of good stuff. Great season. Really fucking nailed it. I wonder what's gonna happen. There's some interesting stuff there. Like if you've read the comics that this season is pretty heavily based on, like Cole North, the black bad guy cop, turns and sides with Daredevil. And how can they go there now with how fucked up he got? Like he got
Yeah, no kidding.
multiple shots, stabbed, knocked unconscious. Like, where do they go with that stuff? Anyway, let's see. Hey, I guess since Jim walked away, I'll mention that I read a cool book. Vanessa, have you ever read the book Red Shirts?
No, but I can hazard a guess as to what it's about.
Yep, it's a John Scalzi novel. And it is a good time. This is not the first time I've read it. I had read it before several years ago when I went on a crazy John Scalzi kick and read everything that he had written. But it is very much about a group of red shirts in a Star Trek-inspired universe who realize that the Intrepid, the ship that they're on, it is the flagship of the Universal Union, that the death rate of red-shirted ensigns is wildly high for a Federation starship, and they kind of go to figure out what that's all about. It kind of goes into places that I feel like are both interesting and not interesting. It's so meta that it's kind of but it's very, John Scalzi is, I think, a very good science fiction writer. And I think that it is a good, fun time and well worth a read. It's one of those books where I was reading it for a couple of days and had only gotten about 30% of the way through it. And then on, I think like Sunday or Monday, I was reading more, and by the end of the evening had read the whole fucking book, and that guy's a good writer, and he really can ramp things up and keep them moving in a way that they're page turners. Jim, have you ever read, I know you've read some Scalzi, right?
What else has he written?
Old Man's War is kind of his most famous science fiction series. Kaiju Preservation Society is one that I read recently that you had mentioned wanting to read.
Let me see here. I don't know that I've read any of these. No, I don't think so. Sounds like something I would like, though.
Yeah, I think that Red Shirt's not necessarily up your alley, is not a big Star Trek guy. Though really, it's mostly, pretty heavily...
Wow, this guy's prolific. He writes the shit out of novels.
Yeah, he does. The Old Man's War series is a really fun and very extremely progressive military sci-fi, which is unusual. Not super unusual, actually. Most sci-fi writers are pretty... pretty progressive, at least outside of the 50s.
The Orson Scott Cards of the world.
I mean, I've said it before on this show, but like Ender's Game is a fucking progressive as hell novel about how you should accept people and love people and welcome thy neighbor. And even if you're a little gay, that's okay. And then he was like, but I'm a Mormon, so that's wrong. It's a thing. I am not one of those people that I don't think that it's fair or fun to be like, everybody that's anti-gay is in the closet. I think that sucks. Like, there are a lot of just bad people in the world, but Orson Scott Card's in the closet. So, anywho, so I read Red Shirts. It was fun. If you have not read that, like, it's a good time. It reads a bit like Ready Player One, but like not obnoxious, you know? Like,
Yeah, not fucking exhausting.
Ready Player One is a novel I like quite a bit. The first time I read that book, I hated it. And then for some reason I revisited it a couple of years later, and on the second read through, I was like, wait, what if this is actually like a fun time?
I hated it the first time I read it, so I'm pretty sure you were right the first time.
No, I actually do kind of like Ready Player One. Anyway,
Whoa.
it helped. You know what? I don't want to talk about Ready Player One. Finally, Red Shirts. Check that out if you like Star Trek, sci-fi, John Scalzi, any of those things. It's a good time. I think it's a bit obvious, but anyway. My final thing is, Jim or Vanessa, would you like to guess how many One Piece episodes I've watched in the last week?
There's like what? There's hundreds of those episodes.
There are over 1,000, but let's be realistic. I can't watch 1,000 episodes of something in a week. That's not...
I'm going to say 35.
Okay.
I'm going to say this is a trick question, and the answer is 0.
Over 100.
Wow.
Over 100 episodes.
How long are these episodes?
They are so fucking short, Jim. When you skip the opening credits and you skip the closing credits, and if you bump ahead a little bit, because it's one of those shows, which I hate this, it's one of those shows that loves to show you the end of the last episode at the beginning of the next episode.
Oh,
they were about 15 fucking minutes apiece. They are so short.
That's not bad.
I don't know
Is
why.
Is there a term for that in Japanese media? Like a really short piece of anime? I feel like there's always a term for that kind of stuff.
I don't know. I mean, technically, they're episode length. You know, they're 20.
Oh, but like there's a lot of filler.
I don't know why. I'm busy. Work's busy, and as I've said a million times on this show, like when I'm busy at work, I'll throw on something on my tablet to just kind of run that I don't have to pay that much attention to. In October, it was like 60 Halloween movies. 60 horror movies. Right now, I've been watching One Piece, and you know what? That's a fun show. It's annoying and obnoxious at times, like a lot of these shonen style like animes. Like there are so many fucking fights that go on for so long that I legitimately have started skipping ahead in the fights. Like just get to the end. I don't care. I don't give a shit. But the in-between stuff is actually pretty fun. It's a good show. I like how goofy it's not like your typical anime shonen type stuff in that like all of these characters are like really lame and shitty. And like the character design is both great and terrible. You know what I mean? Like, there's a man that has candle powers, and he definitely has a wick on his head. Like, it's silly and stupid. Like, it works in that way. Anyway, I don't have a ton to say about One Piece, but I have been watching it. There's no fucking way I make it through 1,000 episodes of this show. Though I have been looking. I found, like, a filler skipper, so I think by, like, episode 130...
Ooh, that's a good idea.
I think around episode 130, I can skip, like, 30 episodes of crap. So I'll be using that some. But I don't know how far... I mean, I am legitimately watching, like, 15 to 20 episodes in a day just because they go so fast.
Yeah.
But... And also, like I said, like it's great, turn your brain off, don't pay attention to it type stuff where like you're kind of half absorbing it and then paying attention to the fun stuff. And the rest of it's, I'm busy. Like it's the back half of the month. I'm fucking slammed. And that's it. I watched Daredevil. I watched some One Piece and I read a book called Red Shirts. That's how I leveled up. Vanessa.
Yeah.
Tell us about the Patreon.
Well, I'd love to. The Patreon is where you can go to get a little bit extra of the show. All it costs is a pinch of dough. We're talking $3 a month will get you access to all of our bonus material. We have 99 bonus episodes behind our little paywall. And this month it will roll on up to 100 bonus episodes for your listening pleasure.
Oh yeah, somebody in the Discord did. I wish I should have saved it. I'm sorry, listener, for not remembering who said it. But somebody did say that last month's was 99, and thank you for doing the count. Well, they didn't do the count. They looked at their...
It was on their RSS feed.
Well, thank you very much for that. And for the $5 level, you get all that bonus content, plus you get to vote on our upcoming games. We will have a list up soon, if not already now, by the time this episode releases, of point-and-click games for you to vote on as our next game to play. And for any dollar amount
Is Wing Commander a point-and-click game, do you think?
No. For any dollar amount a month, we will read your name at the end of the show, except for tonight, we're not going to do it.
Yeah, we're not doing it tonight. Johnny's not here. He didn't update the list. We don't know who you are, what you did. Let's each do somebody from memory. I'll start by thanking Tracy. Thank you, Tracy. We appreciate your commentary in the Discord. We appreciate it when you show up on the streams. We appreciate you chatting with us about each episode as it is released. Jim, name somebody.
Vanessa's mom.
That's the lazy man steak.
The best Vanessa's mom that I know.
And I'll thank Tyler Petty, who is going through it at the moment.
Yeah, well, think about you, bud. All right, well, that's it for this episode of Square Roots. If you'd like to send us an email,
do every episode. I like this.
If you'd like to send us an email, they have right on the show. We're at squarerootspodcast@gmail.com. Come see us at our Facebook group, the Square Roots Podcast Group for smart, clever, and attractive people. We're on Blue Sky at squarerootspod.bsky.social. Also, if you would like a link to our Discord, send us an email to squarerootspodcast@gmail.com. We'll get you added. The Discord is a-poppin'.
Please rate, review, and subscribe on Apple Podcasts, Google, Spotify, Ghana, or wherever you listen to podcasts. Thank you to Stephen Morris for our Square Roots theme. You can find Stephen on YouTube. Links in the show notes.
For Square Roots, I'm Jim Banks.
I'm Matthew Banzant. I think I just said
Vanessa.
Matthew Banzant.
And I'm Vanessa.
Banana. Goodbye.
Bye.
And I'm Johnny blasting off again.